all-time highs. For Microsoft, Meta 0.8 to the upside. Microsoft red, about the same to the downside. Tech pretty mixed at this point this afternoon. Outside of some of the chip names, AMD, Intel, and QCOM still having a positive day here. 2.5%, 1.6. AMD 1.1% as well. Banks are very strong. We have some of the consumer services names pretty strong. Retail names strong as well across the board. But overall, oh yeah, that happened also. Bitcoin hit 50,000 if you missed it or stepped away. A bit of a pullback now, but nice day right across the board for equities related to cryptocurrencies as well. Let's talk some NVIDIA here. If you're with us in the pre-market this morning, we had chips top of the list, or NVIDIA specifically. There was more positive analyst talk, more demand talk coming on the AI side of things this morning. We get all the way up here to 746. Bit of a pullback now, but still positive on the day, guys, for NVIDIA.
Yeah, having a drink, trading some NVIDIA.
He finishes it right when we're both taking a sip. Like
yeah, no, that's all good, man. That's perfect,
I should do
perfect
it
timing. We're $2 right now in the money right now, so it's another one for everybody, and it's just one of these. You come back to the club. The club is now open. Anybody that is a watcher is welcome into the club right now. I mean, there it is. I only started to short it right now, honestly. I mean, the market started to break down. I was like, let's start shorting NVIDIA. My biggest trade of the day, and we'll probably
let's move ARM to
we could talk ARM instead of
Shopify with ARM.
Yeah, so ARM was absolutely fantastic, but let's talk about NVIDIA just real quick. We talked about it on our sticky note today, down to 715, but that's when we were down here already at 720, and the market, well, that was in the pre-market here. We did get down to 720. That's been the lowest spot all day. Other than what we just took advantage of right here as we broke through there. We tried to play some of these upside moves against this 725. So again, look at this. This short here is 724. That out is 720. That's $4. Excuse me. Then we reshorted. We got stopped out of our last 20% there. Then we reshorted it again against what is now the 50 period of 724. So we're $2 in the money now, and the 50 period's coming down, making this look even better for us. So far, so good, man. NVIDIA to the short side. We've been waiting for this market. It's just crazy that, like I said, I don't, we'll talk about my worst trades and my best trades, and it's just too bad. This is my absolute worst trade today, P&L-wise, is the Qs. We kept trying to go short. They kept breaking higher. We had to let it go. Obviously, now it's at close to the day's low. Let's see what happens here with the NASDAQ. I'm close to my day's high right now. Still a little bit more to go because we did take a beating on this trade right here. We'll hold it. We're now almost $4 in the money on NVIDIA, and I don't have any bids. So let's see how far this one wants to go to the downside. It's NVIDIA.
Yeah, everything is the chip names are really starting to come back in, and it was the market was dipping so much that we were like, what did Kashkari say? Was there a bond auction we missed or something?
Who's this Neil guy?
Yeah, spell it right, Neil. He's older than.
Plus, I think he's South Asian.
He's South Asian. He's older than me, so
way older,
I guess
dude.
He had his name
He's
first.
like 75.
He's no. Neil Kashkari's not 75.
No,
I'm gonna say he's 58.
58.
That's my guess too.
You got 58?
I guess 58.
Oh, I didn't even hear. Okay, yeah, all right. I'm gonna look it up.
No, I'm gonna check ChatGPT in a second.
You just keep talking. I'm gonna find out.
So I was long Intel all morning long. I was like, Intel is breaking away. I got to find a way into the long. And then we didn't even get it till it broke 44, and then VWAP at 44.15 carried that to the top. But then in the middle of the day, I'm like, 45's in here. 45, we're shorting this thing. So I'm still in this. It got VWAP for us. We rang the register all the way into VWAP because that's how I roll. Now we're holding for the dream that is back to 44 even. And it's a dream that keeps on giving. Just as we ended the day, just as we came to the morning show, or to the afternoon show, I just covered my Amazon position. I'm going to quickly go over why I'm out of Amazon. Because when Amazon went ham on Friday, this was the the late morning support was right down at 172.50. So when it consolidates down here at 1800 held, I'm out of this thing. So it was a VWAP retrace play that went to target for me. So the only position I'm in right now is going to be Intel. All right.
Yeah, I have it right here. I have it right here.
58?
No, we're not even close, dude. It's 50. Look, this guy's actually he looks a lot better than I thought. This picture makes him look great. But there he is right there, 50 years old.
He's not 50 in that picture when you showed.
This
not
one.
that one.
I don't know. I'm not going to click any of these because I don't risk where it's going to go, but this is what it is, man. Born in 1973. So congratulations for Mr. Neil Kashkari there.
It's a weird way to spell it.
Yeah,
But you know what?
I think he's Minnesota Fed. Bank of Minnesota. Yeah,
he looks better than I do with the
Annapolis.
shaved head, though.
Yeah, he looks great.
He
looks
has a very
fantastic.
clean, like bald head look.
Meanwhile, we're getting a little lower here. Let's see what this market has, and let's go back over the desk and talk about Tesla.
Yeah, price cuts for Model Y coming through this morning. We were talking about, if you're with us, again, pre-market, it's been a fade. Right out of the gate, we tested that pre-market high and never looked back since. I mean, there's lots that we can discuss on Elon, who apparently was at Super Bowl.
Yeah, apparently he was caught with his kid, Brendo, even though reports are that he missed out on it. Look, Brendo, I mean, he's trying to say that these cuts are nothing to do with demand and that it's basically the slow time of the year for them. A lot of people don't want to pay or that they don't want to buy a car at this time of the year. So he's having to balance slower demand with economic productivity, which is his gigafactories. They have to produce cars in order to be efficient. So he's trying to give people a bit of a discount here to keep things flowing.
Yeah, not a huge move down, 2.7. I mean, it's relatively weak on the day. It was I think these articles were more pointing to the lack of Tesla advertising at the Super Bowl. That was the, ooh, he wasn't there kind of thing. But I mean, $7 million, guys, for 30 seconds.
It's pretty. Remember, I tweeted this out earlier. Remember, it was Elon Musk, and then here he is right here, and then all of a sudden it's like, and then this is him tweeting it, but then I started thinking about Mars. He's like, having kids is the greatest joy in life, and then Mars.
But he's thinking about the kids by getting us to Mars.
It's all about Mars. It's all about Mars. No, go to Mars.
M-A-R-S.
I'm down with Mars.
Mars, Mitches.
God knows I ain't going to Mars. Maybe you may go, but Elon Musk may actually go. No, I don't think he'll go.
I'll settle for.
How old is Elon Musk, by the way? Are we going to start this now? How old do you think Elon Musk is?
I mean, I'm just going to say 58 because I feel like saying 58 to every answer.
Yeah, I'm going to go with like 53.
No, stick with 58.
Look it up for us. Adara said 49. She's going to look it up for us right now.
I'm guessing 58 for everything. What price do I think Rivian's going to be in 2037? $58.
52?
You say 53? Okay. I knew I should.
I either said 52 or 53. You got to rewind that. 52. Okay, yeah, nice. All right, what are we talking about? Tesla. All right, so Rivian was a cup of coffee. We didn't make money on it. I owe Rivian a cup of coffee. But honestly, for Tesla, I mean, we both talked about this 195, 196 short. Obviously, it comes in.
Why did we short it there?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. So we didn't short it, but
I know
it did come in, and yeah, now it's downside. There wasn't even a negative.
I know why. I did.
Yeah, I said 53. Okay, so I was talking about what he's going to be.
Well, he turns 53 this year.
Just guess.
It's his age.
Unless he's a January baby, I don't know.
It's his age 53 year. You were correct, I think.
Okay, good. Yeah. It's
But
53. It's his 53rd year of life. That's what I mean.
That's
no, but anyways, Tesla. I mean.
I have a reason
what
for why I
was the story today? Well, was it downgrade? I don't even know. But
I don't remember the story. Price reduction on some of the vehicles. That was the story.
Okay. I mean, the thing is that I just heard Brendan go temporary. But the thing is I like that. I like the fact that he's reducing prices. I think it's supposed to squash everybody else. But the thing is Renata brought this up to our attention, and like Ford's at $13. Like, huh? Ford's up 3% and Tesla's down 3%. What is this, bizarro world? So I mean, I don't really know exactly what's going on. But if you look at Ford, I mean, one chart compared to the other. Flip this upside down and you've got Tesla up here at 260, 270 and now trying to get down lower. You have Ford trying to break above. So I mean, whatever world it is right now, it's a good one for Ford shareholders.
I'm covering some. Excuse me.
I feel like covering is probably a good idea.
And Rage TV, to answer your question,
I don't know.
Sean is 25 years old.
Yeah, 27.
25.
This is my 27th year.
Oh, it's 20. I thought you were still 25.
Don't worry what you think,
We're
Neil.
moving to 27. All right.
And how old is Neil? Let me know in the chat how old you think Neil is.
You know what's hilarious?
And I do have an iPhone 12.
Ever since we joke around about age, I feel like anyone asks, you guys always
Not
guess
sure.
like 5 years older than I am. I'm telling you, it always happens. But I'm going to slap where's my fail thing? Oh, you know, this is even better. I'm not going to. I'm going to use
have
something
it?
different.
Yeah, go
to get
ahead.
a
I
better
don't know if you
one.
had it.
So I'm going to do this because as we were discussing why, despite like, oh, now I've buried the lead here because you can already see my Rivian chart.
Nice
Why
one,
we
guys.
didn't short 196, even though we liked it. Like, yeah, all morning, 196 on Tesla. The earnings gap fill. I gave multiple reasons. There's the earnings gap top. It's resistance. We'll short it. Well, why not short, Neil? Because I shorted Rivian 5 times instead. Now, here's the thing. Let's count them for you here. 0 for 1, 0 for 2, 1 for 3, 1 for 4, 1 for 5 on Rivian. So we are at the Mendoza line on Rivian short. The good news is keep the losses sort of relatively reasonable so Intel pays for that. But
Are you not in the chat?
the opportunity cost isn't just that I went 1 for 5 on Rivian. None of them were out of hand, and the one win was a decent one, so that he kind of somewhat makes up for it. But when I choose Rivian instead of Tesla, this is what can end up happening because the Tesla was pretty clean for the short the entire way. And you've got to, when you are sort of grading your trades and your trade ideas, I have to be able to account for the fact that not moving away from Rivian and moving towards something like Tesla ended up costing, because I always say this at about 10 o'clock, you reassess where things are at, and the ideas that you had, if you're fighting something, but I like shorts in general in the EV space, this one's not working, go look for something else. How many times have I gone over to Nikola or Lucid when Rivian's not working, and then those end up working out? And today I could have gone to Tesla, and then it would have been a heck of a lot easier than going like the second and third, or the fourth and fifth times that we shorted Tesla. But we learned a bit of a lesson. Thankfully, enough shorts ended up working out that it's not the end of the world, but you can always do a little bit better. Let's go back to the desk.
Let's go to Snapchat. A monstrous day to the upside finally after 3 straight to the downside, coming off a disaster of an earnings report. Long story short, they're going to get rid of some debt, which is much needed, and big move higher, 6% still. It's well off the highs though today.
Yeah, bang on there, Brendo. They're readjusting about $100 million worth of debt at about 0.25% coming due in 2025, and then another one for 0.75% coming due in 2026. We'll have to see how they do, but yeah, definitely some balance sheet adjustment there.
Yeah, wasn't able to get above 12 and stay above 12 today though, guys.
I just want to bring everyone's attention. Yeah, Neil and I went to high school together. So
Somebody pays attention to
let's just
the
remember.
show.
Let's remember that.
We're in the same grade.
Yeah, we're in the same grade.
High school basketball
We did lots. We played Monopoly for money when money was like $10. Okay, so right now, NVIDIA, and we're also like in a football pool that I think is like 20-something years old, honestly. I think it started in like 2002 or something. Maybe even earlier than that. We'll have to look it up. I think we can find out because it has the history.
03 maybe.
That's what I'm saying.
03.
Anyways, NVIDIA right now, $4 in the money, looking at 720. Not getting out of this one. We'll talk about ARM when it happens. Look, Snapchat for me was the biggest trade of the morning for me, bar none. And it was just because exactly as was written on the sticky note is exactly what happened, right? And I mean, it was just, here we go, I'll show it to you. We were waiting for that exact reason. Thanks for mentioning the debt restructuring. That's what we saw. And again, I got to give a shout out to the watch list. Because, without the watch list, holy crap, we are now getting spicy. NVIDIA is now $6 in the money. NVIDIA, $6 in the money. Disney, $1 in the money. Amazon, $1 in the money. Snapchat, an amazing 22 cents. And this is where it was here. 11.50 long. Debt restructuring looks good to the long. Honestly, there's not much else we could talk about on this play. There's the 7.50 long, and there's the bang, and then there's the bang, and then there's the good idea. So, I mean, we're still holding like 5% of this to see what happens. It's right here right now. I feel like you could probably buy something in and around this 11.50 if it comes back in. Honestly, we have way bigger fish to fry. I'm not getting a $7 winner on Snapchat anytime soon, but here it is on NVIDIA. As we get down into the low of the day, we've got this one and we've got it good. Lets you understood. What is it? If you got it, you got it good.
Shoot.
I
usually am better at this.
Yeah,
See, I blame the Super Bowl.
I set it up and then
I'm way more on point.
Oh, wow. This is getting deep.
By the way, 18,000. Bye-bye. on the NASDAQ. 18,000 bye-bye. I didn't trade
man.
Snapchat, but
Remember this?
we are now falling.
Remember this?
We are falling like an absolute rocket. And there wasn't anything technical.
Damn you, bear.
Oh, sorry, there wasn't anything official that sort of dropped when 18.1 went on the NASDAQ. It was simply, I guess it was just acceleration.
Soon,
and
Adrian,
what was a bullish market is now headed to the downside. I'm going to take 44s and get out. Rage TV, no, Sean was not a troublemaker in high school.
$9.
Not at all.
Yeah, no,
There were
not really in high school.
No, not in high school.
Here comes 7:15 on NVIDIA. I did write down 7:15. Shout out to you guys in the chat. Adrian, I will not be singing at the Super Bowl. We have right now $10 in the money as we go awesome on that one. $10 now in the money. Although Usher had some pretty good moves. You should see me on that dance floor too. Do some crip walking. You know, you do not want to see that. But there it is right now. Ciao, NVIDIA. As we are now pretty much at the high of the day for ourselves over here. As there goes NVIDIA. We were left for dead on ARM, and we could talk about ARM. We took a $23 winner on ARM earlier off of this short at 160. Like, as this was going up here, we were deadsville. We got out, we got back in, and then absolutely destroyed this ARM trade, and we'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, I feel confident, man. We're $9 in the money on NVIDIA right now. This happens every day. Thank you for watching, and make sure you keep on subscribing, liking, and all of that content, and we'll see if this guy can't get a little bit bigger right now very, very soon. But I just want to hold it. I feel like this could be a mistake. We've been looking at 715 for a while. Let's just see if it holds right now. It's NVIDIA and it's getting cranked. And wow, something else is happening. Google's making a move down right now. So our net is getting whoosh right now. And you guys know that I'm a P&L chaser, baby. Not an ambulance chaser. No. A P&L chaser. Because when we see this,
Jimmy.
Yeah, exactly. What's up, Better Call Saul? How you doing? There goes Amazon right now. 134, 135. That's what we're in the money right now. Let's take another piece out. Ciao, Amazon. Wow. This is a good one. Just make sure those deliveries hit my house. I think I'm waiting on like, I don't know. We ordered something yesterday. I don't remember what it was. Something for my kid. Anyways, bye-bye.
I ordered boring stuff this weekend. Like, yeah, whatever. I'm not even going to get it. Like, we order.
No, we ordered something yesterday.
Like, we don't even go to, like, the stuff you get from, like, a Shoppers Drug Mart. Like, we just,
right.
Everything is Amazon.
Yeah, I know. I've spoke to your wife, or was you or your wife about
Rebecca was saying that.
Rebecca was saying that to it, yeah, about how, actually, that's really smart. I actually told that, like, life hack to my wife, was that the more subscriptions, and I knew that, the more subscriptions you get, like, the one you get is, like, 5% off, and then if you get like 2 to 5, it's like 7%. And then, anyways, good life hack there. So,
oh yeah, well,
wow, we just took more out on Disney.
Oh, that was my bad going over RIVN. Didn't realize that was it's Tesla and
honestly,
Rivian,
the way this market's moving.
The market is now we're now really flushing. What did Neil say again?
Boring man. The boring man is like, yo, what's not Neil Kashkari is the boring man. Someone in our chat. We are short NVIDIA $11 in the money right now. So this is not the 10-cent club. This is not even the dollar club. Right? This is the dime club right now. We need a new animation. Every day it seems like we have something at least $10 in the money. This is how crazy the markets are, man. This is what's all about risk management. Like I said, I was completely dead, and then you just have to slow down, wait for these things to happen. And I just tweeted this out about NVIDIA, okay? I said I did not get short. Like, look at this. We ignored it all day until when? Market be cracking. So that's like, that to me is the piece of the pie that I was missing so many times before. And it's like, right here, when the market's going up like this, honestly, I know my mistakes. Like, hey, I'm Sean, like, you know, lots of mistakes. Look at this. Like, why am I doing this against the market? You need to wait until there's some kind of topping action and then do your damage. Because if you're like this, then what happens is when it fades out, I'm always getting stopped out, and I don't have enough. On ARM, we're actually, I don't know, we may talk about this, but on ARM, look, all the way up, we thought we had a peak, it was actually fine. But then into here, the minute it broke this top, we should have gotten away from it, but we had that one extra short, which really burnt us, and that was able to get me out at 165. But the minute that 165 was made, and we pulled back, then I was able to use that 165 as a high. And that gave me sort of the out and the risk process to manage that kind of a trade. So let's go back over to the desk because Sharif's getting pissed off.
Never. Rivian holding on to 16 bucks here, but barely. Everything very, very weak. I mean, sell programs have fully engaged, apparently. That was the highest volume candle of the day across the board for the futures there, through 18,000 as well. So downside we go. That was this morning. Barclays with a downgrade on Rivian. Quite the steep cut here too for the price target as well.
Yeah, not a good look here, Brendo, but it should be mentioned that Rivian was up 7% last week, but overall on the year it's down well over 30%. So a bit of a tough look for electric vehicles in general. Yeah, Barclays analyst Dan Levy downgrading this from overweight to equal weight. Should be noted that he reduced the price target on this bad boy in January from 27 to 25. So it's another negative look for this for Rivian from Dan.
Yeah, I did check. It's March 7th. We'll get the R2. Randy?
You actually want to talk about Rivian, or
No, we'll talk about, we could save, okay, so just now, I just want to just quickly, we can talk about anything we want here. It's our party and we'll cry if we want to. Look at that, there's NVIDIA, man. We'll take this out, 725 down to 717. Let's just take the $8, put that in our pocket. I didn't want to interrupt, but it's the same price. I got out right here, 717 break. So if you guys want that, you got that, and that's what it's all about. Randy, today I shorted Rivian on a Barclays downgrade. That appears to have been incorrect. It was good for a little bit. It started to get going. Now Rivian's back in. It's down 2.5%. But look at this, Randy, on a daily chart. Rivian right now, I needed to get this garbage out of here, and it's trying to hold. So I feel like today, if we hold this area, let's just call it $16 even, then all of this little area down here, we can get rid of all this and then start to move back up to the upside. So there's a little bit of garbage down here. I don't want to look at this stuff down here at 12, but just for now, I think the lower class model there, where they're trying to bring the R2T out, I feel like that's a Star Wars thing, the R2D2. But
that's good enough for me.
Yeah, that would make a lot of people buy. You excited for that Rivian move there, Randy?
Yes and no. Let's talk about production problems first.
Right.
Because getting the existing models out the door has still been a problem. So you add one more to the mix, and now you have more problems.
So they had more inventory on the last earnings report than they had sales.
This is good. I think the downgrade was a bit unfair. I think it was a bit preemptive, but the numbers sort of add up. So if they can get the existing models out the door, and again, we've said this 100 times in the last, 9 months, solve your production woes.
Yes.
Then, the RT makes sense. Cars need to be more affordable. People need to be able to move into the space without, mortgaging a house. So if you can put out a more affordable product that appeals to buyers, good stuff. But let's get them out the door and try and solve the existing issues. Let's put it that way.
Why do
I just like to support on the chart.
Yeah.
That's all well and good. I just feel like if it holds this low, the market might decide to get out in front of that.
Right, and again, I think the downgrade was a bit unfair, but the numbers are there, so we'll see what happens.
Why am I seeing tons of Polestars on the road? I feel like I'm seeing a lot of these Polestars, and if you come over to my chart right now, they're at a death-defying low as well. So I'm thinking to myself, hey, self, what am I even doing here? I see a lot of these Polestars on the road. Is there a problem with buying a Polestar or the stock? Maybe not the car, but the stock at this level? I mean, maybe we'll have to look into that.
Not as profitable as maybe some of the higher end, not as much hype as the Tesla,
Right.
But you're right. There's lots of them on the road.
And I think they're pretty good looking.
They're
okay.
Yeah, they're not
product.
huge cars.
No, I think they're fantastic.
Okay.
So good stuff.
Okay, thanks.
Thanks, Randy.
And that is Mr. Randy. Thank you so much, Randy. There's a fake Randy TikTok account out there, by the way. It is not Randy dancing in his underwear. It is somebody else.
He's not doing the T-shirt look today.
Yeah, he only sends those videos to me privately. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
all right, so Google's
Easy there,
making a
Pauly D.
comeback there right now.
I see you.
There are loads of Polestars out there. You know what? Let's do. Maybe we have to do
trying
some
not
work
to,
on
okay.
Polestar right now. 180. I don't know. This is looking. When does PSNY even report?
Yes, let's call them PSNY.
Right there, 29th. Okay, all right. Well,
Hey, there you
there's
go.
a little bit of date there coming through. Oh yeah, that's on
Leap
the
year.
leap year.
Do it.
As if
is
they
that
actually,
is that the first name
as
we've
if they
come up
planned
with?
that. I haven't seen another one.
That's the only one I've seen.
Yeah, because remember, me and you were talking. I didn't even realize it was, but I think it was your daughter. Someone was excited about.
She's
she's all
a
about
weird
that.
obsession. She wishes she was born. Her birthday's this.
Yeah, you were saying.
She
that
wishes
she
she was born on leap year, because then you could. She loves that joke of, oh, you're really only like 1 year old when you're 4, and all that kind of whatever. I don't.
Is anybody honestly? Is anybody in the
For
chat
sure,
a leap year baby?
For sure, we have somebody, whether you're in the chat, somebody that watches this show is a leap year baby. Let us know, and we can.
Those
check
odds,
it out.
what they tell you is like if you're in a classroom or something of like 40 people, the odds are like blah 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 that someone has.
I think
same
it's
birthday as
if you have
like,
30 people in a class, it's basically a coin flip whether 2 people share a birthday.
that is like, how does that make any sense?
It
I know it's
actually-
math.
the
but
math
it's like-
works.
it blows my mind. but that's-
Intuitively, it doesn't make sense, but when you do finite math, it makes sense. I don't know why we're talking about finite.
Well, because it's a math show.
Because I already went over RIVN and I spoiled that. So let's go back to the desk, pretend to talk about shop, but really we're going to talk about ARM.
Yeah, we are. What's Shopify? I don't see Shopify.
No.
No, I didn't want to give Ramin more work to do to have to change the art on there. So, yeah, we'll talk about ARM. How about that? Because it had a huge day today, if you hadn't noticed. 164 right at the top. We're back to 137 right now. But, I mean, what can you say? Sean and I were talking about this on the podcast on the weekend, in that it feels like the market's looking for the next one in the chip race and the AI race specifically. And this is at least looking like it might be.
Yeah, the demand for these types of chips is really increasing, especially with their compatibility with mobile devices and the fact that they use a lot less energy than some of their competitors. Really a good look here. The other side to this is the fact that only about 10% of all outstanding shares is actually being traded on the public markets right now. That may change though come March 11th, because that is the blackout date, March 12th, excuse me. That is the blackout date, Brendo, from the date of the IPO. It's typically 6 months. So if you're looking for more liquidity on this one, March 12th.
Yeah, mark that down on your calendars as well, and we'll see what comes of that, guys, for ARM. Pretty impressive.
What, we're doing ARM? I thought we were doing Shopify. What like, how organized are we around here?
I did, okay, fine.
I didn't trade Shopify at all, so.
Well, I did have an early trade on Shopify, but then
Nice
the
one,
ARM
Ramin.
trading was obviously more important. Like, there was a couple of good bounces for me, and then it just never really trended. I got out on a higher low on Shop, so win, loss, win, loss. Like, it essentially just went like 50-50. Could have got back into this trade, but you all saw what happened to ARM. ARM went parabolic. And that's the reason why it was the, like, I've completely vowed that when I do the lesson of the day, if at all possible, if there is a way to make it something that was learned or pertinent to that day, that's going to be the way to go. That's why I talked about low float versus short squeezes, and how realistically when you're trading, you should not differentiate between the two, and you shouldn't assume that the only things can squeeze are things that have a big short float, because ARM does not have a big short float. It just has a restricted amount of shares available because of SoftBank. Now, things went from reasonable to unreasonable in its price movement very, very fast, but once that happened, I switched gears myself. I went for the short basically off the 150 to 155 area after looking at it the 130, and that was it. Once the buyer, and we talked about this in the chat, once the buyer at 148 up here started holding it, it was another leg up. And I shifted from I'm going to wait for Intel or something else to make a top as opposed to trying to fight ARM. I had gotten everything and had the $10 winner, and then elected to short it 3 more times, which I don't think that was necessary up there. But if I kept with it, it probably could have worked out. I just thought it was lower hanging fruit to go over to Intel. This is going to be insane on the 12th. If it's still in the 125 to 150 range come March 12th, I think we're going to see some fireworks that week, because SoftBank has got to be salivating at getting some of their WeWork money back.
Yeah. ARM is the most overhyped, overvalued stock maybe in the market right now. It's 35 times sales. And it was even more than that when it was at 165.
Yeah, like that's on.
I mean, it's just, we've seen it before. It's not, I shouldn't say the most it's like the most overhyped, like, large cap, because it's now, what, 200 billion? Obviously, a stock like BMR and things like this that don't even have earnings whatsoever are probably overhyped.
Don't they, though?
Probably not. No, I don't know.
Of course they don't. I'm just.
Yeah, I really don't know. But anyways, we were, you know, like I could say this here positively to you today, you know. By the way, Obi entered the building on ARM. ARM right now, we've done really, really well here today, but the top 3 traders behind me are ARM, and ARM, and then I was able to join the party late with ARM. So it's just one of those things right now where if you were trading ARM today, then hopefully you didn't get too caught up here like I did. And then if you did, hopefully you're patient enough to stick with it and get to the back end. But the problem here is kind of like what Neil was saying. It's very, very dangerous to continuously look at this thing when it's making these parabolic moves. Because like I was sitting there and Neil and I went back and forth. Remember, it was like about trying to take $1 against you if it's going like this. And we're like, that's not, you can't, like, it's almost $5. And you got to figure out your share sizes and things like that. And sometimes having a big account, this is going to sound a little strange, but like it could be negative, and I'll tell you why. Because like if your stop, like your shutdown is way higher, and you're like, oh, I still have like $1,000 to go. Well, ARM will just get rid of that in a couple minutes. So you have to stick with your rules and not like a P&L type of thing, because now it's kind of settled out. But like before, when this thing was moving, it was like 140, and then you blinked and it was 144. Then you blinked again, and it was back to 140. So that's where I know that I'm a bad trader, because something will go $3 or $4 in the money and I think, okay, here we go. We got another 10 bagger on us, and then it stops and pops, and then you lose that 3 or 4. So I feel like with ARM, it's definitely something that you have to be a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, at least for your first half, because you know you could be well in the money and then with nothing to do with the market, nothing to do with anything, it just snaps. Like ARM is up 22% today in a falling market, right? And I mean, look what it's been doing since the market sort of bounced off there. Like we made that low at 133. You just ripped up $10, you know, while the market's trying to baseline. So, you know, this is a very, very dangerous stock. I may or may not get back in, but we're really reading what appears to be everything else really well. Like we got out of NVDA, I would probably rather short that. But anyways, Shopify, also a good stock that Neil went over a little bit. They report tomorrow night.
I thought, wait a minute.
Remember there was one that I was like, was the 13th?
I thought something, what was tonight then?
Yeah, it's Feb 13th. This is pre-market. Shopify.
Oh, that's right. Shopify's tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you won't see another day before seeing the earnings. So what I think could happen here with Shopify is kind of what happened like with Affirm, honestly. I think Shopify is a lot stronger of a company, but at the end of the day, you see this PE here? Yeah, neither do I. So, I mean, they're not going to be positive, and the market's going to hate that. Obviously, they can't install a dividend or anything like that. When you're a growth stock, you better come with some big growth numbers. So let's see what happens here with Shopify. I'm not in love with the retail sector right now at all. I've talked about that over and over again. I feel like as consumer credit and as the debt that are on the books on Visa and MasterCard and AXP, even Affirm, as they keep getting higher and higher, I worry about companies like Shopify with the debt that's on their books. But at the same time, if they're a growth company and they're going to say something huge about projected flows, then, I mean, they also could be an absolute monster. I would much rather, Neil, this name be like around like 84, 85, trying to break rather than have already broken, because now it needs to prove itself back. It was at $94, $95. Now we're down to 90. So like that's 3 or 4% just coming off here today on earnings day, like day before earnings day. So I feel like we got to be a little careful with this one. I don't know, but hey, without risk, there's no Rari.
No risk, no Rari. What's life without whimsy?
Sometimes with risk, there's no Rari.
85 forward PE on Shop. 85. And price to sales is
85?
17 times sales. So suffice to say, I wouldn't be salivating up here. Those are not, and I didn't even realize that until I just looked it up. But I am now just going to show you, I'm out of Intel. So everything started at 44 for me, and then it went to 45. Intel is like this: 44 to 44 half to 45 to 44 half to 44.
I'm gonna get another.
Intel kind of does that. So this is, maybe it's the bottom, but it's certainly a support level. So once it did this consolidation, I'm gonna give it room to try to break down, but the consolidation happened. So it's not the bottom because I should have been long this. It's annoying because Intel was one of the names I did want long off the open. I just thought we'd get a dip. Never happened. But unless we get to VWAP, I think I would try going short this at maybe VWAP here at 44.5, but I'll sit it out at least until we get a little bit of a bounce here on Intel.
All right. I just wanted to say that I just put out a bid on Google and got out. I mean, Google's right now basically at the bottom. I mean, this was another one of those stocks that was kind of a disaster, shorting it all the way up. If I say Vultures to you, that doesn't mean anything. Vultures, the album or anything. All right, good. I was going to talk about Kanye West releasing a new album, but I knew that you.
Oh, yeah.
Really
I knew there was one,
so.
but I had no idea what it was called.
Yeah. It's Vulture album 1. He's got 3 albums coming out in the next 3 months. Kanye is just like, the guy's a madman, but honestly, I think he's like a musical genius. So, all right, and who was it?
Stevie Wonder.
Oh, it was Childish Gambino called him the GOAT, but that's another thing from the...
see, hold on a second. I forget who I forgot. I knew there was something I wanted to bring.
Okay,
There's
good.
something I wanted to bring up this morning about the podcast that I totally forgot because we got sidetracked. And that is, look, I understand.
I didn't want to blow it up on the pod, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, look, I understand that Danny Glover is
Lethal Weapon, baby.
Lethal Weapon, the color purple. He's supremely talented, but you can't tell me you've never heard of Donald Glover. Forget about the Childish Gambino thing. He was in Community. He was Han Solo. Like, he's been around. I'm just saying, Brendo. I don't know. I was very surprised to hear you didn't know who Donald Glover was. Although I did actually.
I really like that kid.
After listening, I added that Mr. and Mrs. Smith to my watch list.
Ooh, yes.
That
was a good one.
Prime, because it sounds really interesting to me, and I watched. Well, I didn't really watch any of it, but I think I watched like a little tiny like intro to it, and it looks really cool. So thank you, Brendan, for that part. But how do you not know who Donald Glover is?
Obviously, Kanye is very eccentric. I mean, come on. I'm not saying that I approve of everything that comes out of this madman's mouth. I'm just saying some of his stuff, like his older stuff, the Graduation and everything like that, and even some of the newer stuff, like it's just different stuff. This isn't like some of the hip hop and stuff like that you're hearing now, like Lil Baby and all that stuff, or Drake and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, this is not, like my wife goes, oh, you shouldn't listen to Kanye, like the guy's canceled and stuff. But I'm just like, I'm just listening for the music. So, all right.
J. Cole's cool.
I don't know. I mean, Kanye was running around wearing a Trump hat and everything. I don't know. Oh, yeah, J. Cole's touring with Drake right now. So that would be kind of a cool concert to see. J. Cole, Drake,
he's not a fan of Kanye.
Somebody else. Who, J. Cole's not a fan of Kanye? Are you sure?
He said some. It's, you know what? It is what it is.
I don't know. Who knows?
I guess everyone has
Most
like
haters,
little diss things in there, and it's part of you. But maybe you don't have a thing against the guy.
Who
knows? To trading, I like PayPal for a bounce right now. And it's not at VWAP, which, okay, we're going to get to the ad read in a second. It's in the consolidation level. If I don't say anything, then I haven't explained what I want to do here, and that's what we're supposed to do. So PayPal, here's your morning top end of the range, $59.70 to $60. Consolidation, then breakout. Then you are consolidating here instead of VWAP, which would be normal at this time of day. So I want to get in this consolidation, give it to about 75s, and then look for the break higher. If the market continues down, then at least I've gone for the long in a relatively strong stock. So PayPal, relatively strong, trying to get the long in here in the 80s, and then we'll see where it can go. And shout out to Mr. Lib. Yeah, there's a bit of a gap for PayPal that it is trying to pull back into. I think there's room for at least to get to the 50 or the 200 period. So strong name, rather try to buy the dip in a strong one, which is PayPal.
Yes. We are going to an ad read, but you're right there. That's right, Jail. The song Jail that was on one of the Donda. That was a good song. Anyways, Donda. Yeah. The guy releases an album like on a thing that only you could buy. I forget what that thing was, the Kanye boombox or something like that. Okay. Anyways, Kanye, if you want to sponsor, you can hit it up. But right now we got someone else who actually did.
Rundown brought to you by Trade Ideas, real-time scanning and alerting used on the desk by many of our traders every single day. See what's moving in the moment. Trade Ideas, check out the link in the description, bottom right corner of the screen right now. Use that QR code as well. Side note, thanks to all the lovely people on X over the weekend. Turns out, guys, they're not related at all. So my bad, sorry.
It does turn out that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was someone was just saying there about there was a great song with Kanye, and they were just talking about the gospel stuff. I'm gonna have to look it up, man.
Kanye has a lot of
dude. The guy has like 50 bangers, like more than that.
Let's be real.
Oh man. Anyways, Now I have to listen to all these Kanye songs. I might just put it in my ear then. So if you guys start,
I don't know. And then
I listen to all of the lights with my kid.
I'm going to try to
Rihanna.
pretend that this is the last we're going to talk about music.
It's
but
not.
if you have not caught the Cat Williams, Shannon
thing?
Sharp.
Yeah. I know about that.
He has a comment about Kanye, which is it's so dead on. It's like,
And he has Asperger's. He's on the spectrum.
Like, why are you expecting to get life wisdom from him? Why do you
expect to get from anybody?
No, but it's exactly. Chappelle did this when he goes, oh no, let's hear from Ja Rule when there's a national disaster. It's like, why do we care? And why do we put ourselves in a situation where we care about that type of opinion? Like, you guys watch us, hopefully, because we're talking about trading. This is what we do. We're both really into sports. Like, we know our stuff when it comes to that, and we just try to have some fun. But I would really hope if I start waxing poetic about, I don't know, like movies, you're not going to sit here and think I'm Siskel and Ebert. And I just said Siskel and Ebert because I'm old. I'm sure there's somebody else I could have said.
I think one of them passed away. The only thing I listen to Ja Rule about is Bitcoin.
True.
I mean, that guy was telling us to hodl when this thing was like way down.
The good looking
Ja
was.
Rule.
Ja was saying that.
I mean,
The only Ja we care about
is
throwing down
broken
some
jaws
nasty
around
bombs.
here.
No, Ja, like Ja.
Oh, John Morant. Oh.
So
I don't.
How's
I like
breaking out
John
and
Morant,
trying
but
to
I mean, the
fix
guy's brandishing guns everywhere. Like, okay, Fire Festival. Yeah, Ja Rule. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man. I want to go to Fire Festival, although I know it's not real.
If you've never seen that documentary, it is interesting.
That is the best. That's one of the best. It's just so stupid. I mean, so many people fell for all that stuff. That was hilarious. Fire Festival. Yeah. That was.
Sometimes you need to be.
That was the worst $5,000 I ever spent. Okay, no, I didn't go to Fire Festival.
You know what? At least you got a story if you went to that. Shut up, that you got
SMH.
experience. So I did get into PayPal, but it's gonna be a little bit different from what I was looking for because it broke. Instead of going consolidation in, it broke the consolidation out. So I'm gonna give it to this kind of lower high at 59.90. So I'm in, but it'll be a tighter stop because it's a different entry on PayPal. And okay, well, Intel's not bouncing to be able to short that. Oh, there was one more name I wanted to get to that we didn't talk about all day long, and it's Uber. Uber's down 2.5%. That's a reversal on the top. It failed 70. It flapped. It's not really a flat bottom break, but here is 69.75. Then you had in the post market in the middle of the week that same level with a bit of a gap fill to 67.5. So I want to try to short this inside of that gap. So in here into 69.5, I want to look for short. If there's continuation in the market and we don't break 18,000 back to the upside, I'm liking Uber here into 69.5 short.
I was gonna say, shout out to Comp SRX1 here. Says this is the Sean that I love. Well, I mean, honestly, this is exactly the mode that I'm in with the podcast. So you guys got to come by, go watch the podcast, man. That's what started this whole Childish Gambino. I asked Brendan what his Super Bowl traditions were. He looked at me like Super Bowl didn't exist. So that was a really funny moment as well. And then we talked about guacamole and all this stuff. And here's a question that I asked Brendan on the podcast, and I'll ask you right now, Neil. It was, if you could be any athlete.
I already know because
Yeah, so that was going to be an easy one. So the question was if you could be any athlete in any sport and just excel at it, and that would be your job, and you could just, you don't have to worry about money, like everything pay. Because like if it's paid, I think I want to do basketball, because those guys are, get paid a lot of money. But yeah, so Brendan's was golf, I think, wasn't it? Who said golf in your track?
And then then he was like kind of skiing.
Skiing, I thought was a good.
No, Brendan's into skiing, which is great. If you do something you enjoy, like most people would guess, if you know me, even my closest friends would probably think I'd want to be a baseball player, which would easily be my number 2. But I've never had any more like joy doing sport than when just put me in the start line. You get in the zone, and I would like literally almost get into a trance at the start line, and then it's like the gun goes, and it's just you in that track. Like, I love it. Like, there was a point in my life when my daughter was born, I was just going to the track to just do workouts for no reason. And I'm just doing repeats. And then some guy comes up to me, he's like, hey, were you training for something? I'm like, no, I'm just kind of doing 150s for the heck of it in like my 30s. Anyways, it doesn't really matter. But I thought that was a great and interesting question because it has to be something you're passionate for. Because it's like it's easy to say you just pick the one where it's about the most amount of money, because then you can easily, okay, if I'm going to be a great golfer, like what's this travel and make so much money? But you got to pick the one that you actually enjoy doing, which is the cool part about that.
I got to think of some more stories, more things to ask Brendo. Maybe we'll figure that out throughout the week. But yeah, just anyways, lots of fun. Go make sure you check it out. Back to trading. All right, so NVIDIA right now does make the move all the way back up. This is the problem. We just broke through that 725 area, and then we did come back down, but we did break through it. I'm thinking now we could just short this because it didn't continue. Like, it didn't make the move to VWAP. Sometimes when I'm shorting it once, twice, I'm allergic to thrice. Like that was a little bit of a shot there, but the thing is, the futures also didn't break above the 50-period moving average. Remember, we turned this bull around into a bear when the market was, I don't know, what time was that? I don't know, somewhere around here, midday, not like, probably around 10 o'clock. But then I just started going short and I got murdered during this. But then the move came in. So the short was been right since we called it, but it doesn't matter. You could be a short caller, but if it's not the right time of game, it doesn't matter. 118.11 right there. Like, we need to, that's 18,000 on the NASDAQ. We should have been more patient with that. We do miss out on that one, but we're still jamming right now with this trade. Google's down near day's low. So I'm going to hold on to this one. I mean, this is one that we have. It is right here. It's right at the low. I'm going to see what it does. So look at this. If we break it, great. If not, I'm going to probably get one more piece out. We'll still hold, but another piece out at 148, because how many times have we run something to the bottom like this, seen it hit, and then bounce back up? So again, short Google early was wrong. Short late has been fantastic. And that's because the market's giving it up. Like, I haven't heard, I've been zinging my here. I literally don't know if the thing's working or not. I'm assuming it is. I haven't heard anything yet. Like, there hasn't been any breaking news this afternoon or anything like that. Brendan's at the desk. Adaira's over here as well. And we're looking at the Benzinga Newswire, and we're looking at everything. So if you guys have anything that hits, let us know. I'm going to still stay long Disney, though. Although this right now, this is at a spot where I am thinking to get out. I mean, this was a monster trade all the way up to 111, man. And right now, look at this. If that's not basing out and telling me to get out, then I don't know what else is. So this, to me, under VWAP, under the 200, under VWAP, under the 50. Here we go, man. I might just punch out of Disney. This is definitely breaking, and I don't want to give anything. We've already given some back on this name that we didn't really need to do. So unfortunately, Disney is coming back down into the downside there, and we should have gotten out of it. So let's get out. If we get a little bit of a bump into the 70s, we'll get that piece out. It's still a 50-cent winner. You know, like, normally we'd be celebrating. Okay, we just got out as it rips through 70 there. Anyways, we're part of that whole bunch up. Good trade there on Disney. It was just so much better with momentum. So these are the kind of trades where I need to be making more of. Level breaks, day 2 or day 3 plays with catalysts there. Disney doesn't have a catalyst today. It's just the continuation on earnings. Nice move, unless there is a catalyst. Nice move up there.
I don't think there was.
To the upside. Let's get out. Maybe some, okay, what's up to Computron? What's up, Ivan?
I told my neighbor's a huge
CPI.
sports guy. He came over to watch the Super Bowl. And I told him about this the Disney joint venture streaming
with
thing.
Paramount and all that?
He's like, he's all in. He's like, they haven't cut the cord. And he goes, they probably cut the cord because, like, he loves ESPN.
It's all about sports for most people.
You can get like college sports, and he's a big basketball guy. So I feel like it's going to be a good thing. And then when we talked about the Disney report, that was monetarily probably like not even the best thing about it. I would wager that the gaming is probably a more logical expansion for them. Like, you cannot be the company that is about getting kids and their content and then not be making money on gaming. So I think there's a lot that looked good in that report. But we'll see what happens. I mean, the streamers have been interesting, to say the least, because it's been like Netflix and everyone else kind of sucks, but then everyone else doesn't care if they make money. Apple doesn't care. Amazon doesn't care, and they don't have to. But Disney's never been in that book. No. Everyone's expecting them to be able to make something out of it, which has been trouble for them. So I am in PayPal. I'm going to try to scalp this out, because if it's only going to go 15, 20 cents on the initial move, then I might want to respect that, especially given that I'm only risking 15 cents on the trade. I could have taken some out at 1-to-1. I did not. Uber did not pop enough to get me into the short. So I'm sort of offering on top of this range, looking for shorts into 69.5, just not really getting the fill. And I do not want to overtrade in the afternoon. We're getting into power hour here, so that's generally the time. If you're patient, you can start getting those moves. If you haven't gotten anything already, all I've done so far is cover a couple of shorts on Intel and Amazon, and then gotten into PayPal here. And I would like to also short a pop on Intel if I can get something into VWAP. But look at this. it's holding the same consolidation area that we got out of. Maybe I should just jam into it here, just re-enter the trade. If it's going sideways and trend is down,
Yeah.
then short the area.
You guys might have heard me talk about the greatest stock of all time. It's a new position, Palantir. Yeah, it's not the greatest stock of all time. But so we just actually made a mistake there by getting some out, but we went 93 to 88. Like it went all the way down there. I thought it actually was further down. Here it comes back in again. So we're just short here at 94s. But we were 93, and well, we have two. It's just we have a couple fills. We have a couple fills here. It's hard to see, but we took 2 fills there against this level. Look, we're sloping down. It's a 200 period. We've got 25 here. Honestly, like I feel like holding this one. Palantir's up, so this is going against my, the
Palantir's up today. I didn't even
up huge.
I didn't look at
it was up over 3% up here at one point. It went all the way back to its highs. By the way, it actually made new high at 25.50. Like it started the day at 23.80, and then just took off.
I asked myself why I didn't look at it today, and I already know the answer because everyone was staring at what ARM and those other things were doing. That was the opportunity cost of looking at ARM today. If Palantir, it made the break off the 25
I would have
and
lost.
gave you the top.
Oh, going long, yeah.
I would have. So I know what I would have done on Palantir. The question is, I would have lost short. I can easily tell whether I haven't looked at it, but would I have made money on the 25 break? Yeah, the 25 break was pretty clean. I think that looks pretty clean to me, but opportunity cost. I wasn't even looking at 25 on Palantir. The reload is questionable because you reload it, it goes 20 cents. That's probably a reload that ends up flat because it takes them out. Then I would have stopped out there. And then after that, if you tried it the third time would have lost. But there was something there at that 25 level for sure on Palantir. Apple headed to zero, Pauly D says.
That's not happening.
No. If Apple gets my outlook on things like Apple to zero is if something like that were to ever happen, the stock market's the least of your worries. So it's
if Apple gets to zero, just open up some windows because honestly, I don't think that's going to be happening.
I mean, I'm thinking more like barricade your house and get a bunker. But
right.
No, the 200 period moving average. Let's go there. I'm down with that. Give me that. Give me the 200 period moving average on any stock I like, and I'm a buyer.
Right. It's a bull market.
That's how I roll.
Okay, so I'll look at Apple in a minute. So Palantir might not be that trade, right? I mean, the market's coming back down here. I'm just, like I said, guys, like a break of like 25.05, and I'm going to be gone on this one. Like, I feel like we got this kind of there, and then it went down. I'm not sure how far Palantir goes. Like we're already in $1 here, $1.50 here. We have my favorite guest coming up. Welcome to the show pretty soon. She better be coming or else it's going to be fail. Ms. Danielle Shea. No, right now, coming. Tell me, Ramin. Okay. There's no promises.
Oh, so we don't
promises.
know? Oh.
All right. Oh, the whole stream could hear that? I want your mic to be live. I want Ramin's mic to be live.
I thought we already enabled this, and then why are we not doing it? Everybody wants to hear you, Ramin. You're not shy. So she just says in our ear that she's shy. Trust me, Ramin is a character.
She has like a nice voice and everything. It's like it's all soft.
And on top of that, she's incredibly kind and is constantly giving me like cookies and chips and like that's... So I like immediately, you just in my good books. But I think we should be doing it. Why not? Like you watch Rogan, Jamie all the time is like, well, listen to Rogan. Like he has, Jamie will pipe in and give the news, and everyone knows, hey, Jamie, what do we know about this? And he'll pop in there every now and then just to put a face to the name. That's what's more fun about what we do here. As
I've never watched Joe Rogan's podcast. Isn't that crazy? No, never watched it, period. The only time I ever saw it was the video of Elon smoking the J there. Or the blunt, I should say.
One that you should watch.
That was a nice blunt.
Enjoy. Thank you, Jose Mercado.
What,
$50? No, I got BMR to $50. Okay,
is that where it's at?
The super chat is thank you, Jose. Well, we
got reloaded on Palantir, by the way.
BMR, you think $50? I got 200 shares at 16. Kind of nervous. I would be nervous if I owned this stock because
let's see what's BMR.
It's a squeeze play. It just went 17 to 35. I don't know when you bought 16s. But
Probably just now, maybe on this dip.
yeah, like I guess on this dip, like you're getting
No,
it
you
on the
couldn't
way
have got
back
it
in.
there.
Like if you own 16s, you had to buy it on the way up, and did you not already take profit? This is my whole thing when people talk about these stocks. If you have 16s, that means you bought like this break. Or like this dip, I guess you could have, but it doubled up. I would never buy something that is a pure momentum play or a penny stock or anything along those lines that gave me a double and I'm not taking profit on it. No way, no chance. This could be at $5 tomorrow. Easily be at $5 tomorrow. It could be at $50, but that's a 50-50 proposition in my book, and I will always treat these things that way. That's why I don't swing them. And to the extent that I've taken swing trades on small cap and penny stocks, I'm never looking a double up. I'm taking something out and playing with house money. That is the way to, in my opinion, that is the way to treat things like this because there's no rationality to them. You can find some trades, like maybe if I was trading it off this support, you could be long at 17. And then stop out underneath $16 and risk $1, and maybe it breaks up here. Like you can do that kind of a thing, but if you're talking about a swing, you could lose more than 50% overnight on this.
Yeah, I would. I mean, Neil just said everything. There's no way I would even be holding this overnight. But yeah, you guys can go have a quick look at that for sure. All right, so we're supposed to possibly have, before Ramin gets me in trouble again, Danielle Shea possibly on. And when she was on the market recap show, what day is today, the 12th? We had talked about, she was on with Cloudflare, which is net. And then tonight we have, it must be tomorrow morning, right? February 13th, Datadog. So there's Shopify right there. I just got filled on something. Oh, yeah. It is P to the L to the R. It's PL to the L to the T to the R. It's Palantir. We just got a little reload there, and it's coming back into the downside, so we'll scalp out a little bit right now. Someone just said Datadog was tomorrow, but I'm not seeing it on here, DDOG. It is, oh no, it is pre-market on the 13th, so hold on a second here. Here's the 13th. Is it just so big that it's 30, I thought it was 38 million. Oh, there it is right there. Oh, it's 44 million. Okay. So again, Datadog, right? Look at the previous move here, 28%. Implied move, 12.5%. Look at Shopify, 22. And by the way, I had a hot take on Spotify on the podcast. 22% on Shopify, 14% expected move. Like, you're going to get some bangers tomorrow, man. Shopify goes before market open, and I believe Datadog goes before market open as well. Now, the thing about Cloudflare and Net, and again, you know, we can talk to Danielle about this. Holy crap, the net right now is getting spun out of control as Google goes to the downside right now. Look at Google bleed. Google is now $1 plus in the money. And like I said, when we go to the downside right there, and we're going to be at the high spot we've been at all day, and we're at a $50 mark, bang, that's what we're doing right now. Man, do I miss Kat.
Like and subscribe today.
But look at this move. Nice move to the downside for Google. We are now $1.90 in the money on Amazon short. $1 in the money on Google. Like, wow. Okay, it's all good. Oh, by the way, I got matcha latte.
Oh, that's from the,
Not bad.
I like that place.
Who was that?
That was,
Fabian?
it looked like Fabian.
All right, nice.
Was it you? I didn't hit that.
It was Ram. All right.
I knew it was, I saw Adara didn't do it. I certainly did.
Yeah, it's all good. Anyways, it's Palantir that's giving us that dime piece feeling right now. All right, just real quickly there, we're getting lots of feels right now, man. Amazon, $2, Google, $1. These are trades that we put on with you, so hopefully it's all good. Look at Cloudflare, boom, right up there to the upside, but then there's no continuation. So it broke that same level. Again, we're talking about cyber. We're talking obviously about cloud names here, and DDOG fits it. So these guys are same everything. They're very, very similar market caps. Cloudflare busted out, and Datadog is looking very, very similar, man. There's still a lot of room to the upside if we had a weekly chart, but again, you know, holding the 50-period moving average, not that far away from it. A good number definitely blows this thing out the water. So I would say I'd watch out for that, but I did want to just advise everybody that although it was a great move up there for Cloudflare, it's come right back in. Like on earnings that very next day, remember we were talking about 116? I think Wayner behind us had a good spot there at 108 or something like that. That day actually grabbed near the bottom on Cloudflare. It started to move back up to the upside. And so now, look, you're well away from here. but it's a very, very similar name with a very, very similar market cap. And here we go right now. Well, obviously, big options volume today, over 400%. That makes sense because of earnings. And we can ask Danielle when and if she comes on about buying premium into earnings. It's not a good idea to do it on a day like today. So there's the market cap of Datadog 40. Let me just check what's happening right now. The market is starting to go back up a little bit here. The Cloudflare, very similar, 31, 32, right? So again, oh, there she is. I see Miss Danielle now. So anyways, we're just talking about some of the plays that she had mentioned. So Cloudflare there and Datadog both getting ready to rock and roll. But yeah, it's Amazon, $1.80 in the money. It's Google, $1 in the money. And Palantir just was small, but now it's coming back up to the upside. We're out of more than half of Palantir. And maybe we just got to go back to ARM. Like, we already took $23 on this, which was a good one. It's my number one P&L stock, although Disney's not too far behind it, nor is NVIDIA as well. So, man, it's going to be a very, very interesting week, man. So many fun names reporting. It's Roku, it's Shopify, it's Datadog, it's a bunch of other ones that I can't think of.
Airbnb. No,
it's Airbnb. I'm just going to say random stuff that you say. It's Airbnb.
Yeah, Airbnb. I knew we.
Yeah. So
that's the one that I'm kind of pretty excited about.
Someone else put one. There's Lyft. Someone else put something else in the chat.
Hold on a second.
There's not Snapchat.
That's for Lyft.
Oh, you know what?
That's for Lyft. I mean, come on.
Someone just put in what? Come on.
We don't like. I mean, Lyft is.
Come on, son. Haven't you seen?
Yucky,
There's Upstart. Oh no,
shoot.
Upstart.
Oh shoot, Upstart.
Oh, are we getting too dramatic here? Oh my God, there's Upstart earnings. Oh wow.
Day traders like Upstart.
Yeah, so I was going to say Upstart earnings is tomorrow night.
You know, okay, you know what? Tuesday might.
Upstart has a very small short float though.
It's 47.
Yeah, it's 41.
Oh, it's. Okay, I thought it was maybe a little bigger.
Neil, if it was 42, then you could say it's your favorite number.
That would be my favorite stock then.
But it rounds down. See, 41.32, so it's kind of like 41. Maybe get a little more.
I want to give a quick update because I did put a long position on it. The market was trying to come to the downside. That was PayPal. So PayPal 60.05, giving it to 90. It got to 20, took some out. I'm going to try and reload this off that 60 level. Once again, we're in the short on Intel as the market's bouncing inside the consolidation. So all I did effectively is I zoomed out too far because there's that wick. There you go. So from 45 to 44. Bounces 45 to 44s, and I got out, and then I'm just jumping back in this local trade here. If it holds this consolidation, great. The market can make fresh lows, and then we can go to the downside. If it breaks, I'm just going to jump out in the quarters and wait for the 44.50, which was kind of the original plan. So relatively tight stop here on Intel. Do not want to give too much back. Like, try to give back maybe 10% of what we made on it. And then re-engage if it gets to 44.5. So we're keeping it tight to the vest this afternoon. Avi's saying, look at DraftKings.
Re-engage.
What do we do with DraftKings?
We just go long, don't we?
I haven't traded it since it was like a couple of weeks ago.
I see in the chat that people are like, they're so glad Daniel Shea's coming on. I mean, look, I've already said that she's my favorite guest, but see, now I'm getting like, because maybe they're just tired of us, you know what I mean? Like, they're so glad she's coming on, they don't get to see our mugs anymore. So I'm kind of like torn about
I made
this.
it a tie between Danielle and Frank, only because I get to learn something different. It's like a different language options for me.
Yeah. Lots to learn up. And why not start the learning session? I thought there's some note about the Maple Leafs here. All right, let's start it right now. And congratulations to your Kansas City Chiefs, Ms. Shea, as it is truly a Taylor Swift era one more time.
That's right. I enjoyed watching the Super Bowl with my family. I was actually born and raised in Kansas City, so I was a Chiefs fan long before they were good, but no judgment if you decide to jump on the bandwagon because, you know, it's a lot of fun watching the game.
I laughed at Sharif earlier today. I saw somebody posted Super Bowl since 1996, and in one side of the screen they had a Dallas Cowboys player, and on the other side of the screen they had Taylor Swift. And it was like 1-0 Taylor Swift versus Dallas Cowboys. So I thought that was kind of funny. But anyways, how are you?
That's
good
great.
to see you.
I'm great. How are you doing?
Fantastic. It's Monday. We still have a ton to get through in this current earnings season. A lot of them coming up this week, as the guys were alluding to here. I mean, where do you want to go here? We can go all over the place. I mean, the most, I guess, important is what's coming up tomorrow morning. So take your pick here. I mean, there's Shopify, there's Datadog, there's Biogen. How about Shopify to start?
Sure. So when you're looking at these earnings reports, I mean, these are going to be the more aggressive, volatile earnings reports. But, for me, I'm kind of an aggressive, volatile trader. So just keep in mind that anytime you're trading earnings, I mean, for me personally, I generally keep my risk about 1 to 2% of my whole account overnight. And, yes, it can go wrong, but I still like trading them because I tend to be pretty good at it, I think, knock on wood. So, let's go ahead and look at Shopify. When you look at Shopify, first of all, I'll just point out that the gaps overnight, half the time they're up, half the time they're down. And so when I'm looking at that from a directional perspective, especially looking at, let's just say, the last 5 quarters, again, half the time it's up, half the time it's down. So it's challenging for me to say, I think it's going to be up. But here's the little thing that gives me a little bit of an inkling. Last quarter, it was up 18.1%. They had a really solid beat. So they were estimated to earn 5 cents and they made 55, and they've continued going higher on high volume. So for something like this, it is very aggressive to make a bullish move. But I can see that $100 price point that's just kind of sticking out at me. So to do something aggressive on this and, just looking at your options chain and just seeing, I can see that we're trading at $89 a share. We have an $11 expected move on earnings. So, 89 plus 11, that would bring you up into $100. Pretty aggressive trade, but I think that that's probably the way that I'll look at it.
There's so much positivity around a Shopify as well. I mean, there's so much positivity around the cloud space in general, the cybersecurity space in general. Give us your thoughts on Datadog here as well.
So Datadog, it's, a similar story. It's a pretty aggressive stock. It's at 135 a share right now with a 16-point expected move. So if you look at that in the options market and you say, okay, where could this go to? Where is your high open interest? And you look down here at your 150 strike price, you have quite a bit of volume. There's 2,888 contracts in that strike. And if you look at the rest of the strikes, we don't have anywhere near that amount of volume. And so what happens is in the options market, that tends to be a little bit of a magnet. So looking at Datadog to the upside, especially with the very high implied volatility, we have 146% implied volatility in this series compared to, 93%, 77%. So there's a couple different ways you could do it. You could come in here and you could say, I'm just going to sell, put credit spread. If you sell some put credit spreads, what that does is it gives you a pretty solid risk to reward perspective, just pricing it out for one contract in the options market, $2 wide, you get a credit for $1, you risk $90 to make 110, something like that. You can sell put credit spreads if the stock goes up, you buy your put credit spreads back the next day. That's typically the easiest thing to do for an earnings trade. Of course, if it goes down, then you are going to have the max loss, which was $110 a share.
All right, they come fast and furious, and let's go to Tuesday after the close. Airbnb, Upstart. I mean, there's Robinhood, there's Lyft, there's MGM. Let's go Airbnb. How about that one to kick things off?
Sure. So looking at Airbnb, again, we've got something half the time that's up, half the time that's down. You have a 12-point expected move on this, and you're trading at about 154. So as far as an upside or downside target, a lot of the times I'll actually, if I'm not sure, if I can't really make a directional call, instead of just selling a credit spread, I'll do a cheap butterfly at the upside move and a cheap butterfly at the downside move. This one looks like a pretty good candidate for that because your upside move would be around 170, and then your downside move would be around 140. So if you put, 2 cheap trades at both sides and you said, you know what, if it pulls back into this critical support zone, I'm going to make money. And if it explodes up into here, I'm going to make money. So I use that strategy a lot, especially on something like this that is so volatile. It has 2% moves, 13% moves, 7% moves, 1% moves. So with Airbnb recently, I can't say that there's any major catalyst to the upside. They did do well last quarter, but nothing particular to say, hey, this is a great buy, where I would look at Datadog and Shopify a little bit differently.
All right, as the guys were saying, the short percent comes into play here when we go to UPST as well.
So for UPST, do you have the short percent on that one right now? Because that's, that is the major catalyst for me. Anytime I go into an earnings report and there's short float, especially if it's over 15%, that's a moment in time where you can say, I can look for a great short squeeze, but you have to have a good report. So for something like this, I would say that, last quarter it gapped down 27%. The quarter before that, it gapped down 17%. So I don't know that I'd feel confident enough going into it long before the report, just because it hasn't reacted well recently. But I do really like the squeeze setting up. I do like the shorter term bullish pattern. It has an $8 expected move. So let's say that it gaps up, $8. You're going to be all the way up into this area of resistance. And really, if it could get up above here, that's where the short squeeze would really take off. So if you're super aggressive, you could place a lotto trade like a butterfly in the options market at 45 or at 50 using that price target. But I think for this one, it'd probably be better just to wait until the day after the report. And if you get that gap up like ARM, then you just follow the move.
We've obviously talked about a lot of different symbols here. I want to fast forward though. Let's go to Thursday. After the close, you get DraftKings, you get Coinbase, you get Roku, DoorDash, just to name a few here. Out of those, is there any that stands out there? Maybe DraftKings or Coin?
Sure. So, Roku always has some pretty huge moves. I'm sure we can probably do something with that one. It's going to depend where it's trading right before the report, but for every single one of these, I am going to pay attention to what the expected move is on earnings. And then the next day, how much does it move? Because that's where, with a lot of these, we have the best opportunity, because they're really volatile over earnings. Half up, half down. It makes it hard to make the directional move before the report. But afterwards, they can make some huge moves. So with Coinbase, people were asking me on YouTube too, like, how do you determine what the expected move is? So in any options platform, you can just come in here and Thinkorswim particularly, they have the market maker expected move right here. So for Coinbase, it's $14. You can also look at the move into the end of the week, but I do like this value a little bit better. So you basically look at Coinbase and say, okay, the expected move is $14. If we get a move and it's up 20, that's a moment in time where I can come in and day trade it to the upside, especially if it could break up above this area of resistance. As far as the report itself, I don't have anything great on that one. So I'm going to wait until afterwards. DraftKings, though, you see this? Do you see how it's gapped up 4 quarters in a row? That's the kind of thing that I'm looking for, where I can confidently say, you know what? They've been in a bullish trajectory. I can come in on this one. I can sell a put credit spread, and I have a pretty decent shot of, following along with this overall bullish trend.
Going to be a busy week. Once again, a lot of great names, a lot of great input there as always. Danielle Shea is VP of Options over at Simpler Trading. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks as always for Danielle.
Yeah,
And
she talked about Datadog before, which is nice. I am muted.
what? Am I muted?
Yeah, because I was spitting hot fire. I don't want my vocals being across the, until we get
It
that.
made me check as if I
Until we get
as
that
if I
deal.
was muted though.
But no, we talked. Anyways, I was just mentioning that she talked about Datadog. Go find Trader Danielle on YouTube as well for a great follow there, and join her weekly or maybe every other week. I can't remember. We have a lot happening on the market recap show again, but there it is, man. Options trading. We don't have them on our platform yet, but when we do, then we'll have Danielle on
Bitcoin eventually, right?
As much as possible,
get
right there. So make sure you go check her out at Trader Danielle on Twitter and on YouTube. So thank you. Yeah, thanks for joining, Danielle. And look, she nailed that Cloudflare last week. We had a great call with a firm Upstart. I remember Danielle was going long a firm, breaking through 20 into through 25, so on and so forth. And Upstart has that same potential. We're gonna have to slap the fail on ourselves. We wound up being red on the name, but thankfully it wasn't obviously that bad, as Palantir just goes completely against the grain here. Remember I said If you go over to the chart here, I'll have a little bit of an explanation. We were talking about Palantir being up today against the market, which is down, and then we've turned this bull into a bear, so we should not be going short a name that is up so much. We're better off picking on weaker names, like Amazon. Right now, that's down 1.36% and near the bottom of the day. It's a good thing we got out of Google there, literally, as my kids would say, literally at the bottom of the day, and we're bouncing off the 50 period here. So, I mean, hand up, man. So I lost more, I'm up more now on this 10% of Amazon position that I have left than I lost in total on Palantir. So just to give you a little bit of an idea of what we're working with, that's that. We'll look at first some other things. You know what, maybe you have any trade ideas on? Because I was looking at Tesla, maybe.
I'm still working. I'm probably going to try to get back into Intel because I'll get to that in a second. I did get out of Intel when it broke that quarter, but then it recovered it almost immediately. I reloaded the PayPal position, trying to scalp it out. But I just I said I was going to look at the 50,000 breakout, which I did take on Bitcoin. That was a pretty weak move, relatively speaking, but it is creeping back up to that 50,000. So it made a little bit of an up and down move, which if you took that break, the best way to explain why this was a bad one was like the spread going into it, and then when things tightened up and it took it the level the second time, made a new high. That's when I got into the break. I tried reloading it, and let's see it bouncing off 50,000, but like it went like $200. It went $200 and then pulls right back in. I guess that's just how it rolls. If we get a break of 50,000 that's sustained this afternoon, that would be spicy. I might jump back over to this, but I do believe I might have been too hasty in jumping out of the short of Intel. So it's a tight stop, but really, I feel like I want to give this one a chance. If it rolls over again and holds underneath VWAP, this could, I just could see 43.40, 43.50. So I do want to get it back involved in this one. Maybe just take a little bit less and give it a little bit more room. So it is up 2%, but underneath VWAP, it failed the big 45 level. I'm just going to quickly show you why 45, because earnings gap levels. And these matter, like gaps down and immediate resistance. The next day is the 45 level. It makes a bottom. Where is it going to turn? It gets to 45, and then that's the local top. So if it is going to continue to pull back in, I think you could get back to the 43.5, which was the next key level to the downside. So I want to give it a chance to get down there on Intel. Yes, up 2%, but you got to put it into perspective. And I'm thinking it's a range-bound trade, and it found a local top.
I mean, I was looking, I didn't really see too much. Roblox, yeah. So I like the Roblox long, but it's actually setting up for a short, which is pretty good because we do want names that are down today. It just came back up to VWAP. The main problem is, and this is, and we could talk about this. I've gotten some people tweet at me and stuff like that, or slide into my DMs about trading in the afternoon. And I really feel like, you still want to use your levels, but I feel like you got to lower expectations a little bit, unless you're like maybe into the last 20 minutes or something into those imbalances, which could create some pretty wild moves. But and here's a good example on Roblox, and I'm just going to talk about what I'm thinking here. But it's a trading show, right? We don't have to be in. I'm already in 2 positions. And I'd like to find some more. So just on Roblox, someone was mentioning Roblox, and it just hit on my VWAP scanner. So this is the thing. If I'm going to go short now, which is fine, I'm not going to go short Roblox right now at 44.15s or whatever it is, 44.16, 44.18 right there, against like 22s. Like that's 4 cents. So, I just get stopped out, then it would tank down, And then that 4 cent stop out makes me think, I need to use higher shares because I'm just going to get stopped out there. But if it was up here, then I'd have no problem giving myself like that 10 cents or something into this level right here. But just to go random just because it's at VWAP, I still like it. And now that I'm talking about it, it's going down. I mean, the market is not doing anything. I'd just rather see Roblox up in and around 44.40, 44.50, so then I can short it against pretty much these highs right here. I'm not going to go all the way to the pre-market, like 45, but I feel like this is a good little level right there, 44.50. So again, no problem. If the market rips up, I think you can sit around this 44.40 area, because even if the market rips up, you're not going to take out VWAP on the market, which means I would still remain bullish. So we'll wait. Not bad on that one. SMH, so I was just looking at NVIDIA again, because again, like, I just look over. My number one stock P&L today is going to be ARM. I feel like I should still be in that short, but no, see, wrong feeling. So this is my number one P&L. We took this $23 from there to there. Another $8 or $9 from here to here. A couple scalps out as well. And on all just really well traded, man. The 50 period, like this is short at 160. That's 150 fill. That's a 137 fill. That's the $23. More shorts into here at 147, 150. That out is 138. But you're starting to get going now. So that makes me think about the other stock that is my second. Actually, my second one is Disney. I'm looking at for shorts only. So ARM and NVIDIA. And this is getting close. I don't mind shorting the 730. I think the exuberance is overdone. I mean, we've been talking about that. It burned me going short the Qs the first time. But now that the market's underneath, I feel better about shorting this. So we're getting close right now to putting on another short for NVIDIA, maybe around that 728. I feel confident putting that out against that 730.
Yeah, it's just, we're under that 18,000 as we come back into it. So I was just looking up Okta because there was a question about it. Wasn't really familiar with it, so I thought I'd give it a quick look. But when you're underneath 18,000 here, you're pulling back into prior support. I think about entering short positions on weaker names. That's stair step to the downside, short lower highs, all that good stuff. But I gotta acknowledge what's kind of, it's not frustrating but it is a little bit frustrating what's going on with Square, because on Friday we shorted Square because it's relatively weak. And today I'm like, oh, PayPal's pretty strong. Like on Friday, PayPal was strong, Square was weak. Today, PayPal's strong, Square is strong. But the one I'm in, PayPal, the reload is flat, and look what's going on in Block. Like, that is about as, straight. Look, every single 3-minute candle is the same thing for the last half an hour on Square, which would indicate to me there's some slight buying here, and if it holds VWAP, why couldn't it get to the high of the day? So if there is a long name, I'm in PayPal, and I wouldn't usually want to trade them both. But if this doesn't go on this dip on PayPal, if it doesn't start running, I might try to jump over to Square and see if I can't find my way into this one now that it seems to be making a move. You want to try to trade things that are moving. That's what led me to PayPal on the dip. I would think a stock that strong, you'd give an opportunity, but Square looks like it might be the one. So if it's going to be this, it's got to be that. And AMD, so I'm looking at Intel, but AMD is weaker. So if we're looking for weak names to short, AMD 173. It doesn't really rhyme, but it's close enough to a rhyme that it sounds cool to me. So 173 on AMD is looking pretty interesting. It is wedging into that price, so I need to see it pop and then fail at that price as opposed to just standing in front of a moving, not really freight train, but you're getting this after a wipeout bottom and higher lows, so I'd want to see it fail the break of 173 and then maybe jump into that one. So that's what I'm looking at. Intel, AMD, Square, and PayPal. Just want to find an entry point without trying to force the trade.
Yeah, I'm doing the same thing here with Amazon, looking to get something out if we break above this 172.50. The market looks like it wants to turn around a little bit, so we'll be there to support that if it does happen. But for right now, the market's here. We're looking to get a piece out right here on Amazon. Let's see if it continues to work. Good trade, but trying to make it a little bit better. All right. What else do you guys want us to look at? ARM is 150 again? Okay, someone just put that in the chat. Let's go have a quick. Probably, yeah.
Oh, Meta's.
All right. I'm tired. Sorry. Man, damn. Okay.
It was a long game.
Forget about the game, dude. I don't know. I don't know how late Sharif was out to. Maybe 12 o'clock is late for him. But honestly, I'm so busy every weekend. It's so stupid. Anyways, whatever. I'm up crazy amounts, but do it for the kids. We also had our last baseball sort of winter workout for a couple weeks, so that was nice. Yeah, I know yawns are contagious. All right.
That's how it works?
Yeah, that's how
Science.
it works. Everybody gets tired. Everybody yawns when they see someone else yawn. Hopefully you don't cough there. Sorry about that. 150. Yeah, so that could be a good level, man. Whoever shouted that out. We just bounced off of it. The reason why I was like, I've learned my lesson trying to go short into ARM, if you can see here on the chart, it took it all the way up, and then we have a stop out there pretty much at the top. We're able to make some back, but then, in and out there stopped again, and like some of these hits aren't good, man. Like that's 158, that out is 159 or so, and then right there, some of these stops, like that's 160, that's one, and then we went re-short, but then we got stopped out there at 163, so that's like a $3 hit, so we kept getting in and out there and stopped out until eventually we took a 157, and then we took a 160, and we were gonna use this 163. So we're like, okay, we've already taken multiple dollar hits on this. Let's just see if it goes back up to the upside. Like so much volume was conducted at these high ends here that I felt like if the buying ever dried up, like how many hundreds of thousands of shares were gonna get bought at the top, And then eventually it fell in, like that time it worked. I don't know if the thesis is gonna work again. Like right here, that's 151 basically. So that could be a short that you wanna go into. You're not like getting too much volume, but again, green definitely outnumbering the red and in size as well. So I don't mind the shot. Like I don't mind the shot. So I feel like going short here, 151 to give it $1. I know we said before that it was something where you wouldn't really want to give it at least $1, but this makes sense. We now have levels. Before, when there's no levels and you're making like all-time highs, that's where it gets a little bit spicy.
It's not parabolic right now.
No, it's not.
Before it was parabolic. Now it's
Exactly.
not
That's
parabolic.
a good word, parabolic. So 150.50 right there is the top. So I'm going to start a short at 150 and give it a shot, man. It's 326. We're doing well today. Let's see if we can get this worth a shot in the arm up there at 150.
Ooh, I like that one. Oh, I'm on the wrong page. There we go. We got joke drums. I'm going to use them. It's just how it is. I'm going to use them when I get a chance. That 50,000 is inbound, Aaron, in the chat, and we're talking about Bitcoin. But the scalp trade here, I got to get something inside of the range on PayPal. Since we got into it, it is a very defined range, which is telling you where you need to get in and get out. So if I'm getting the bounce off 60, which I am, I've got to take something. Otherwise, it'll close, and then it will have bounced, and I would have gotten nothing inside of the range. So you can't make the market go somewhere it doesn't want to, or a stock in the general sense. You can't make it go where it doesn't want to. All you can do is take advantage of what it wants to give you. That AMD, maybe I should have been a little bit less discerning with that and just punched into the short. Then that would be breaking a rule. I thought we'd press a little closer to 18,000. This bounce would take you into 173. We might not get there on AMD. There is one more name I wanted to get to because it was mentioned, and I don't want to say we ignored it because I'm 99.9% sure that Derek came and actually mentioned this stock in the morning show, Robinhood, and they also report this week. There's a lot of good earnings this week. It's trying to creep through VWAP. But what's interesting about them, they're breaking out. I can't remember the last time I felt this or said this about Robinhood. It's above the 50 period and trying to continue a breakout going into their earnings. I just want to double check because I don't remember if it's before or after market. It is after market tomorrow, so we'll be trading that one on Wednesday post earnings. But Robinhood in the midst of a bit of a breakout, so it'll be tomorrow's market recap show is going to have Robinhood, but this should be on the radar going into earnings because it's already starting to break out. Give me that scalp trade PayPal. I definitely missed that Intel reentry, and I'm trying to be patient with AMD.
Yeah, so, all right. Remember what I was talking about with ARM? Well, that just came in and out, like, super quick. So there goes ARM, up through 153, like, good thing we got out, I guess, at the end of the day there. Trying to find something to trade. Okay, there, you might have just got to pull back there a little bit. I was going to say, that high, let's see if we can zoom in a little bit here. I just finally saw some size. Like this was like one green candle. There's not much we could do there. We got out where we said we would. But there it is right there, 153 right now. But ARM is getting pretty juiced up right now again for this move. So let's just zoom out a little bit here. Yeah, I mean, we're nowhere near any levels. Like, when it's coming back down, we're getting out to 50, It's almost like at this point, you may just want to wait for it to, I mean, it's trying to go parabolic right now. But you might just want to wait until we really go. So we're just we have a small piece left here. It's into 154 right now on ARM. Like, what are you going to just wait for 155 and then get blown out? Like, I feel like the best thing to do might be to wait up to this 160 or so there on ARM. So let's give this, we'll take a little bit. We're just short right here right now. Let's give a little bit of room to this trade and then see what happens on ARM. But it looks like we'll give it to, like I said, we'll give it to that 155. But after that, then we have to wait for it to go parabolic up to 160. That's going to have to be the play. So here, I'll just show you guys. We'll put it, I just got to make sure I don't have any other outs. No, I don't have any more stop orders. Okay, so 155, like honestly, like 03 or something like that. If it just breaks by a smidge, then we will get out on that one. So okay, so right now we're fine. Yeah, we're short. We're out of the money. Well, we were just out of the money 2 cents. Now out of the money 50 cents. This is what I mean by how violent this name could be. But hey, man, violent trading is my middle name.
What's interesting about that? I put this in the chat. NVIDIA.
I don't know what that means.
NVIDIA. Come on.
We're about to get
chart's a little sleepy.
Violent with ARM here.
Cannot hold VWAP, so that is looking relatively weak. I just looked at SMCI just because I was looking at AMD and Intel, and ARM is apparently still going. Look at SMCI, holding under VWAP, basically the same setup. This is exactly, not exactly, but very similar to what I'm looking to get back into on Intel. The only difference with AMD here is AMD is actually weaker. So maybe I should have gone into this off the 173. But this tells you what you need to know about ARM. Like ARM is not, it doesn't matter what's going on in the space. It's doing its own like squeeze-ish thing, which means the moves down can be violent because you know how these end. But the moves up can be equally irrational because even NVIDIA is not really flying this afternoon.
This ARM trade
doing the other thing.
Going to be garbage. This, yeah, I was just going to say this. It's not. We're flat on this trade right now. I could get out of it immediately. It was just at 153. But the thing is, the way this spread is right now, this is not a good trade. This is going to break 155. Like, it just went down to 153 and held. I'm not really feeling this trade. If it goes down, great. We have the risk parameters. We're going to hold this $2 against us. We've just talked about that. So I do have a bid. Wait a second. What am I doing? I have to put a bid at 150. Okay, here it comes down. I'm just going to put a bid. Actually, I said we're holding this $2 against us, but I'm going to take something at 152 even if it can come back down. Here it is. It's a nice, there it is. Bang, finally. Let's go. Now $2 in the money on this ARM trade. We just made back what we lost pretty much on that, but it doesn't matter. Like I said, I was not like in love with this trade. My chart's going to look ridiculous here, though. Maybe if I zoom in a little bit. There's that. Again, trading in the middle. We tried it. That's what trading's about. Like, it is that hindsight. I kind of say that just for like jokingly sometimes, but like you're always going to look back and say like, why did you trade in the middle? Why didn't you just wait? But I don't know what the best price is. And we have Bitcoin down here too, if you guys are wondering what that is. So I don't think it would run or what that is. 50,000 should tell you what that is. But anyways, we'll only take out a third there of ARM down at 152 for just like $1.30. Like, it's a stupid that we celebrated that, but honestly, like I wasn't sure where it was going. So happy with that. We got out of a third. Now we'll just wait for 155 to break. Hands off. I don't have any more bids. If it breaks, man. And it feels like it may just do that. I was waiting for NVIDIA at 729, but now that I see, okay, it's not there now. I was going to say, now that I see, it was right here on VWAP. Now that I see what ARM was doing, I was like, I don't know if we want to go short anymore. But yeah, right now ARM's going back up. So there it is, man. We'll take $1. Now we're out of the money 30 cents. So just be careful. Now we're back in the money. Just be very, very careful here as ARM is going crazy. And yeah, Mara's
breaking the highs of the day. Just one quick update. I did get that fill inside the range on PayPal. I'm gonna let this try to break these 20s and quarters and get up to the high of the day. Because if this is going to go, it's a relatively strong name. So if the market does any kind of a bounce, I don't see why PayPal can't reclaim its highs. But Mara, on that move into 50,000, we're at 49.9. Mara doesn't care. The 27 level is the only level I interacted with on Mara. Short scalp wins and then tight stops for the outs. So it's keeping it pretty tight to the vest at 27. Now it's over 27. If it pulls back and bounces off 27, I'm shooting long. Okay, I hate when I say this term, like, anyways, my baseball team used to always say that, like, I'm shooting this. Like, no, I'm just going for the long. But I'm going for the long here off 27. I just want to see it bounce off this, and that way if we get a 50,000 break, I can be long in something that has a chance to make a real move in the last 20 minutes, because we got 15 minutes till the imbalances come and 25 minutes till the close. You need something which is going to move. Now, PayPal has a chance, but PayPal's not going to move the way that Mara, almost said ARM, the way that Mara can make a breakout. So yes, Bitcoin is not above 50,000, but I still like this notion above 27 even. As stated, I should have just maybe jumped back into Intel right away or given it a little bit more room. I did not. I elected to short the consolidation, and when it broke the top, get out. Could have given it more space. Certainly, if I'm shorting a 45 level, I probably would have. It's starting to roll without me. If it breaks 44, I might jump into a momentum trade. The problem with shorting a momentum trade breakdown is it's really tight to 350. And I don't like getting into positions at like 345, 346. I'd rather be in the money holding something that I can have my stop set. So if the imbalance comes out against me, I'm just getting out pretty much on that imbalance. I don't want to be getting into position right in front, because how am I going to let it work for me at that particular moment? So I need this to pop up so I can short it. And for now, I'm just going to keep it very, very patient. I've always found if you get something trending in the afternoon, it doesn't matter if it works slowly so long as it works. Like PayPal's a bit boring, but okay, how easy is that technically? There's your high, there's your consolidation off the high, there's it bouncing off the previous high, and there's it holding it so you get the move into the upside. And it's a $60 level as well, so it doesn't have to move a ton, but if it works, that's all that ends up mattering. I'm gonna cancel my offer on Intel, because if it bounced at this point, I have to reassess it. So you might not see me get into one of those chip names. I don't know if I'm going to get that opportunity. But PayPal is certainly working. Tesla, this would have been, I actually just canceled a Tesla order as well, because I don't know if we even got a chance to talk about this, but I like the 190. That's completely irrelevant now. I like those VWAP retracements or those pivot areas where like it was support, then it turns into resistance in the afternoon. Throw that out the window. But tomorrow, 190 on Tesla can be a thing. Let's go to the desk and take care of some IG business.
Brought to you by IG.com. Trade Forex pairs like Euro USD with spreads as low as 0.8 pips and zero commissions at IG. Terms and conditions apply.
IG.
Oh, man, that was a good coffee break. $4 in the money. I honestly, I don't like, we talked about our stop. You guys, honestly, everybody here, this is what we're doing. This is what I'm doing. This is what everyone's doing. Risk to reward, right? We talked about that over and over again. I just broke down why this was $1.50 worth of risk. You know, so we just took that risk. Sure, like we got stopped there, but our stops were nothing compared, right? So we just talked about getting stopped out at 155, which was $1.20 worth of risk. We just got out of another third. We only have a third left. At 149.50, 149.40, so that was about 4 and change. I can tell you exactly how much it was. Oh, well, I got multiple fills down there. Be hard to add it up. Anyways, $3 and change on that move down. Here it comes right back up. So you got to take the fills when they're there. Lucky enough to sit back down and see that. All right. So those were those fills. Double check in on the stock that we lost on Palantir. I'm honestly thinking right now, like it's right into this level. That would have been a decent short for Palantir, but it's 338. Did we get that number from Brenda? We must have, right?
260 sell side.
No, we didn't get it. Okay, 260 sell side. Okay, so 260 to sell. So not a big, huge factor for me. Google still downside. Hey, do you just want to hold? I mean, I'm just going to hold this now. Let's just follow the plan. Like, honestly, no more shorting unless NVIDIA gets... Now that I saw ARM give back there, I feel better about this, but again, 730 is still what we're looking at. I have an offer at 729 trying to give this $1. I don't know. Actually, you know what? Let's just cancel NVIDIA. NVIDIA is going to be, so ARM's going to be my #1 stock. We did give some back, but we're back in it now. If we exit ARM right now, it will be still our #1, but I have an unrealized position right now of $3. Actually, what am I talking about? Yeah, we took way more than $3 on that. $3 in the money right now on this position. But so we'll see where we go to the downside. My target for this, honestly, is a flush. Like, why can't we get to 144 and we we make 10 bucks on this trade, honestly. Like this is a level, 144.50. I'm just gonna put a bid there and see if we get it. You know, you don't get filled unless you put something out, right? 144.60, all right? Hands off, put your hands up in the air, and let's see what happens right there. Thank you, Adam. Thank you, everybody else. I mean, you guys can see our trades. Neil and our trades are there. He's long PayPal. Oh, of course. You can,
As you say it.
The idea is you can see the trades there. We talk about our outs. So on that note, why don't we talk about what happened on PayPal? Obviously hits your target, I guess. So that's another good trade.
It got to my target, and there was like the high is 60-60, but it got to 40s, and there was enough of a seller there. 340. It's also 340. It's the end of the day. It got into range. Once I see somebody selling inside of the range I want to get out, I'm just going to jump out of it. So I took that chance to just get out at 39, right in front of a 40 even. It based off the 60 level. Like it doesn't have to be. Excuse me. Like it's somewhat of a boring trade because it shows you the low. It then holds the higher low at 60 in front of what was a 59.90 buyer. You risk 10 cents, and it ends up giving you like a 35 to 40 cent move, scalps them out in the first 15 to 20, and then it goes. So whether or not I get something else is really dependent on where things are at 350, because that's the only other setup I look at. Like I'll be looking specifically at a couple of chip names. Like if there is a chance at 347 or 348 to short off of a round number, or like the 174, 173, 42.50 on Intel, play a little pop and fade in the last couple of minutes for a scalp trade, that's about it. Otherwise, we've gotten in and out of what we're going to trade more actively. That Mara dip, it looks good on a setup basis, but if 50,000 doesn't go, the later we get in the day, there's not as much time for that to dip in and then rip for me. It hasn't come all the way back in. It's trading in the teens right now, and I'd like to see it bounce off 27. Bitcoin is about to get to 50,000. Like, it's very, very close, BTC here. Like, I mean, eerily close. Like, what is this? 49,973 was the last print. So it could break that 50,000, and that is another name. There's just a little bit of time for us to be able to take it. But I think at this time of day, you want to make sure you ring the register, try not to give back, and just make trade. The trade has to be a great setup, not just good. It's got to look great. And I'm not seeing anything on that yet for Mara because I'm not getting the price I want.
$4 in the money. Oh, for everybody that pays attention, which hopefully it's some of you, and maybe it's getting better, but the podcast, 2 weeks ago, my trade that we ended the podcast with was Nike long at $100. 2 weeks ago, 7%. So far, so good on that trade there for Nike. Look, I like Nike. Nike now taking out the 200 period, back up to the 50 period. This was a stock that we discussed on the, like, if you had just listened to the podcast only for trading ideas, it's Nike down there. The other trade idea that we gave was Adobe as well, and that was at 580. I don't remember where that was exactly, but it was below the 50 period. Yeah, it was down into here. So yeah, 580 or so. Yeah, bouncing off right there. So that was a nice one. The one trade that I talked about, and we mentioned it on this show too, I mentioned it on all the shows, was I really like DocuSign. Again, because I thought that the buyout of DocuSign, which by the way, it's not even like super low yet there, it's fallen out of bed. So this buyout's not going to be happening. It's not, it still could happen, but the private equity firm backed away when they could only get financing. I think it was $13 billion or something. Was what that, I think it was Morgan or somebody that they were looking to underwrite that deal or whatever it was, whatever the proper terminology for that is. And then they could only give them $13 billion, and that was not going to be enough to get that done. So they backed away from it. But anyways, nice move down. And so I still like DocuSign, but I feel like for this one, we're going to have to wait a second just to make sure that earnings are strong. And I'm not sure what the short float is on this. It's only 3%, so it's not huge. Earnings, March, it's too far away. So all right, so we'll have to wait for DocuSign, but this is another name, and then we gave you, and then I liked Boeing at $2 that's only at 209. But yeah, this is a good call down here for Docu. So let's wait to see what it does at the 50, but I kind of feel like this pullback giving us some opportunities to buy the dip there on DocuSign. By the way, ARM broke 50s there and went to 149 flat before stopping completely there. There's Bitcoin, 49.9 right now and looking to go higher. IBIT has to be near its highs. It actually broke 50 before and came screaming back in. So right now you're getting close again to break it, and I'm going to sneeze, so I'm going to mute my mic.
That's what, see, it's all about the timing, right? Sometimes it's all about that. 5 minutes to go till we get the early look. Sorry, we get the imbalances. It was a very small imbalance, but there were a few names, well, I just sorted away from it twice, that are kind of interesting on the early look. One of them is Unity. Unity's got a 2 million early buy imbalance now. This does not mean it's going to come out at a huge bid. It doesn't mean that the stock is even going to go up. But if Unity were to have a 2 or larger imbalance, it's done 10 million shares on the day. That would be somewhat significant. So my eyeballs will be on Unity going into 350. I mean, the chip names, nothing is really setting up for a trade for me, so we'll just have gotten out of Intel and gotten into a PayPal trade. Square didn't really set up. That would have been nice. Probably running out of time for Mara. But Unity, if it does come out of buy imbalance, it happens to have 34 here, which was a bit of a breakout price this morning. I don't remember what the short float is. It's also trying to close above the 200 period moving average. I'm just going to double check for myself and for you guys. 12% short float on Unity. So not bad. But if it does come a big buy imbalance, I would look for some kind of a scalp trade. Maybe a mean revert if it were to get to VWAP. But that's the most significant name at 350 that's setting up for some kind of a move going into that end of the day. And we got a couple of questions about DraftKings throughout the day. And I keep mentioning it. And then I either get into a trade or we end up talking about something else. But DraftKings did, I don't want to say the biggest liquidity grab in the morning. It's one of the biggest liquidity grabs, which can be bullish when you get that kind of a wick candle and then trend up. It's going to close up. It might make another press at these highs. And if it does, 44 tomorrow. Like you see the wick top there, 44, double top, the wick bottom liquidity grab. Get people rinsed out that are maybe in some shorter term longs, rinse out some weak hands, and then reclaim the 44 on a break tomorrow. I love that setup. The setup where you take a breakout after it's just gotten a bunch of people out of longs, maybe got some people into a short, that can be a good one. And you've seen what's been happening with some of these breakouts recently. So DraftKings 44, I'm writing it down on the iPad. Doesn't mean it's going to break 44 tomorrow. It just means if it does and we get a chance to trade it at the open, I want to be involved. So part of my process is I pull out this thing and write on my iPad, which is sorely in need of an update, as I've been told, but that's okay. It fits the purpose.
So yeah, that was the only segment of Apple. I think that was in negative decline was iPad sales. So yeah, we'll have to get Neil one on discount. But okay, there's a nice move up to 154. Again, we got out of a third. We're still holding that one piece left, a third. And it looks like it is going to try to take out 155. So that's going to be our out, man. It's 3:48. Thank you so much for joining us here today. I hope you've had a hell of a time, as I know we have. These are the imbalances right now. GM, Unity. Neil was just talking a little bit about Unity there. GM, I think hitting, yeah. I mean, if GM is anything like Ford, unfortunately, I'm in both names, but I'm not as familiar with GM. Yeah, GM, wow, nice little move on the daily. This could be a nice break. I mean, this is probably a nice break tomorrow at 40 right there for GM. So pay attention to that one. What else we got? This stock is toast, so we don't have to worry about it. Uber right there is a sell down to 70 right now. Okay, by the way, your boy can go over this, or I can look at a $3 winner again. ARM just made another move down. So I don't know if this imbalance, which way it's coming on ARM. Obviously, if it comes as a bid, my stock will get squashed pronto if this comes as a bid, because there's not as many shares. SoftBank is still holding SFTBY on the pink sheets, still holding 90% of this one. You can see SoftBank today up 11%. Look, if you didn't want to know the easiest trade, by the way, Bitcoin just breaks 50, so congratulations on that one. But there it goes, man. SoftBank, look at this. On ARM earnings, I mean, all you had to do was just go long SoftBank and then hope that ARM continues its move higher. Probably a lot safer to do that. I may or may not. Very decisive. Look at this tomorrow.
You can also try shorting that instead of on a sympathy play.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's a really good point to do that, because again, with ET, the only problem is slip, right? Because like right here, that's 4 cents. It's not huge, But, you know, 4 cents, 5 cents, by the time you're taking 1,000 shares or whatever you are, you could get something like 50, 60, 70, $80 if ARM really starts to go. But I do like, oh, there it is. It's now 350 coming out right now, so we will check on those imbalances. But I'm just looking at ARM not doing much here.
Pretty much as is. GM and Unity came out exactly as expected, 4 million sell, 2 million buy. Intel came as a 1.8 million buy, so good thing we're out of that short. Penn, 950,000 sell. Uber to sell 900,000. I'm just looking for a big cap tech name. Palantir, that's nothing. Google, there you go. There's the first of the Mag 6, Mag 7, whatever the heck we call them. Google, 670,000 put to the buy side. So it's probably, yeah, it's not that big. 650 million overall to buy, and that's borne out by the fact that Google's the only big name on this list here. So Unity is what I thought could have moved. It did not. On that 2 million to buy, I felt that if it could have popped into VWAP, there might have been a retracement trade when it paired off, but it went up a whopping 5 cents on that imbalance. So Unity is no longer of any interest. I mean, if it comes out 2 million to buy and it doesn't move, then I'm moving on from that. Intel came out with an imbalance and it's not moving either. So I would have looked at a chip name like Intel or Unity. Both of them came with decent imbalances, and neither one of them moved even a penny, so I don't see any trade on those two. There was a trade on Mara. Mara's issue is I wanted to dip buy into 27. The rip part it had no problem with, but the dip it did not make, at least not far enough for me to get it. And if I took it up here, I'd just be getting 1-to-1. I'd have to put a wider stop and only be getting 1-to-1 at the absolute peak. So to me, that's not even successful of a trade yet if I had taken it. We did get out of PayPal. It did pull back, so ends up having resistance at 40. If I'd held it longer, I'd have been out at the exact same price and just have had to hold it 10 minutes longer.
Congratulations to everybody that's on this Bitcoin trade, man. That's 50,150, 50,200. Yeah. I mean, it's been a monster, man. I mean, here it is right here, 50,152 and going higher, higher, higher. So congrats. All right, we're out there. Well, I mean, hopefully most of us will have some kind of Bitcoin. It's funny when I went to Shreve and he mentioned he had never owned any or traded any. That's kind of feel like that's
at all or just not?
That's what he said, but I mean, it's not for everybody and that's fine. But no, I was just saying, it's just strange. Thought he might have. Okay, so there we go. We're out of Amazon right there because of reasons. Got the market recap show. We got to be flat at 4 o'clock every day anyways. And the market's heading to the upside right now, apparently. So there it is. We don't want to get involved on any of those imbalances, that is for sure. And then there's Google. Again, it broke the 50 period. Nothing to do with that, trust me. I mean, if there was more time in the market, I was trying to hold the shorts all the way, as you guys know, so not much happening right there for me on Google. But we are now $4 in the money on ARM. If it breaks, I'm trying to bid 148.50, but now that I see this, I guess it's really 149.50. But let's see, maybe we get, see my ARM bid just canceled. Like, what's up with that? Okay, so maybe we're getting a little bit greedy. Let's take something out at 150 in case it does come back there. It just held it pretty nicely. Come on, push. One more. Someone swipe the bid. I don't know if you can do that because I don't know who has enough shares to do that right now. But maybe someone will sell. Come on, guys. You don't want to hold ARM overnight. Nah, that seems, thank you. That seems ridiculous. So right there, let's go into the gates of hell for ARM. There's another 350 taken right there. So all we're kind of doing is stacks on stacks. Oh, yeah, we have something for that. Travolta's just like, who is this guy? But right there, it's been a good day. So now it's $4, $5 in the money. I don't have any bids. Let's just sit here and admire this. I mean, because now ARM's, I just feel fun to trade this. We don't have many shares now. We just got out, obviously a third. We have a small little piece left that we're holding for this stream. I was waiting at 148.50, hilarious that now it's right there. So here it comes, man. We'll still hold it, still $5. Let's go, man. We're topping up the day now into the end of the day. Thank you so much for watching. Here's a ho-hum $5 winner at the end of the day, and we just put it on. So we just put this on at 3:30, $5 and going lower. How about 6? Can we have 7? Can I hear 8 right now? We'll see how far we go down for ARM. I'll sit here until well, can't sit here for too much longer because I got to go. But right here, 144. Like if
closing auction. Oh,
yeah, we could do the closing auction.
Well, you have to get that in like.
I got to get it in early
because it's 3:55.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, whatever. No matter how far this thing falls down, we just got out at 150, right? And so good trade there. If it falls down, I think we'll be pretty lucky. So 144, let's just put the bid there and see if it hits. And then if not, compliance can figure out an overnight.
I just saw in the chat, someone just said, I'm so mad, why can I not short ARM? It's easy to borrow for us, but we can't speak for any other brokers, right? So here at Real Trading,
Thank you, Adam.
we have top brokers, and 90-something, it's probably 98% of them. I don't know the exact stat, but it's probably 98 or 99% of all equities on the NASDAQ in New York, we can short without a cost. We don't have to pay for borrows. They're just easy to locate. But some brokers, some things will be hard, and sometimes you have to pay to be able to short it. We're fortunate enough that we don't have to pay for the ability to short on a stock like ARM. On an IPO in the first week, we probably will have to pay a couple of cents per share, but ARM is free for us. Usually, I would expect if it's free for us, then most decent brokers, you should have the availability. But you just got to check with your broker, ask them why not, and ask them if you have the ability to pay for locates. Your broker works for you. They're there to ask questions. If they don't want to answer your question, they shouldn't be your broker. But anyways, that's just my 2 cents. You do want to make sure that you understand what you can and can't do in the markets. If you're trading, maybe not ARM, but that BMR or whatever that thing was, do I have the ability to use stop orders after market? Can I even trade in the post market? That can be important when trading parabolic movers. Like this thing, which, by the way, did say you could have single digits on it. You want to be careful with it. What goes up must come down, but not me, clown. So 4 minutes to go, no new positions on. This is going to close up 380% after dropping $24. Pretty decent move for it, but if you don't take profit on the way up, it's completely meaningless. What difference does it make if you get a 2x move if you're just holding on for this thing to do HKD? Not everything will be HKD, but it is a squeeze type play, and we do understand that people are interested in them. I just feel like way too many times do we get questions about what do I do now, like 2 days after when the stock is pulled back to the break-even price and you're still holding on to it. No one wants to be a bag holder, and the safest way to do that is to play with house money by taking profits somewhere on any positive trade. Like, just as an example, it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be parabolic, but if I was holding out for the absolute top on PayPal, okay, now it's 357 and it's gonna be right back into 60. You gotta get an out. You gotta take out somewhere, otherwise it doesn't mean anything. So 2 minutes, 3 minutes to go on this Monday, but it is an earnings season, maybe not a bonanza, but if you're looking for names with short floats this week, you've got an abundance of them. But starting tonight in the market recap show, I feel like tomorrow is gonna be the wild one.
Yeah, tonight is very calm.
Tonight's calm, but that just lets you get prepared for the storm that comes on Tuesday and then Thursday as well. Like Tuesday and Thursday are nasty, and we get CPI as well tomorrow.
Yes, sir. I am going to. Did we get that? Did we tweet it out? Did I get that? Did you send that to me? Oh, we didn't do it today. Okay, I'm just going to do this myself. Marissa just sent me a pretty funny. Okay. That's cool, no problem. Look at this. This is from my wife here today. Watch the market recap. See, this is like, you got to show this, or it won't make any sense.
Yeah, it's.
Got to show this. There it is. Watch the market recap show. I'm just going to find the link and get that out to you guys ASAP right now. Join me in just a couple seconds. I'm just waiting for ARM right now as it's not doing much. I might as well just punch out now. I was thinking that this could have a chance to get back a little bit lower, so there it is. Ooh, we tried to punch out 28s there, and it just ripped up to the upside. Let's just put our pending bid and see if we get it. There it is. Well, I'll just fill this up. So thank you so much. I'm going to pass it over to Neil. I'm going to go retweet that with that cool graphic that we have right there. So thank you so much to stop. Yeah, the calm before the storm.
That's exactly what it is. I feel like that's what it's like for earnings, every big earnings week, because all the biggest names are Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, because who wants to report on a Monday? SoFi. Anyways, not to throw shade at SoFi. Actually, it's a good thing when SoFi reports, because then usually you can really focus on it that Monday and pay closer attention to it. As long as you don't report over the weekend, Berkshire Hathaway. Yeah, I'm yelling at you. But one other thing that did happen here with 1 minute to go, 50,000's in the rear view again on BTC. Let me just zoom in here. We are at 50,000 and change. 186 is on the bid right now. So it did make the breakout. What's crazy about this is it's exactly the same break. It's the same $200 breakout that it was earlier. Like it breaks, you get $200, and then it just doesn't go any further. And clean. Both times it was pretty clean taking the trade. Should have just taken that trade too. But we do have Bitcoin on the platform. You can trade one of the ETFs if you want to. But you know what time it is? The market is about to close. Unfortunately, it's going to end up in the red. Hate to spoil it to you, but hey, I'm showing you the Bitcoin chart because I feel much better. When we look at something strong at the end of the day, going into the countdown where Adara is locked and loaded on this Monday, let's ring it in 5, 4, 3, 2, go Bitcoin. That was Adara, see, here's what happens, right? Now, Adara, obviously being a gigantic Taylor Swift fan, is a little bit excited. She's wearing the Chiefs colors today, so you're gonna ring the bell extra loud so that all the Chiefs fans and all the Swifties out there will know that they have Adara's support. So I gotta respect that because they're champions, and she's literally like the most famous person in the world. So that's fine. Like if it was the Bills and like Teddy Riley from Blackstreet, I'd be up there like ringing the bell loud too. But shout out to Fabian and Ramin, as always, do a fantastic job making us look and sound good. The midday, Learn to Trade, Sharif, the Professor, and Adara, Sharif and the Beard, and Adara doing a fantastic job as always. And can't say enough of a thank you to Danielle Shea popping in and letting everybody learn a little bit about options because we're going to trade equity here. That's what we do. And then this morning, of course, getting Michael Noss, Brennan doing a great job. Got to thank him. Cannot thank him enough there. I also want to give a special shout out to a few of the guys back there. I was having a good conversation with Patrick. He's been all over Mara recently. Yannick this morning had a fantastic day on the trading floor. Obi's been doing really well as well. I didn't get a chance to talk to Max today. And then, of course, our two managers, one of which, Brankles, his name's Brandon, but we call him Brankles because that's his trading ID, came on the midday show and talked about that they're hiring. The trading floor, this head office trading floor is hiring. So I do believe we put a link up in the middle of the day. If not, it's just Brandon at, I think it's Select Vantage, at daytraderworld.com or Select Vantage. You can just email him. If you're interested and you're in the GTA and you want to be on this trading floor, or just message one of us and we'll relay it back to him. I think he's going to pop in there again because they're looking to hire a group of traders for this floor. So if you're a viewer, it doesn't hurt because we'll basically say, Brankles, you got to hire him. So that's that. Don't want to belabor it too much. We have some earnings coming on the market recap show in just a couple seconds. It's been an absolute blast. ARM is still going crazy. We've still got AI a thing. Just make sure if you're trading ARM, it is a parabolic mover. We talked about this. ARM is not trading like a normal stock. You've got to treat it like one of those squeeze names. So without further ado, let's get on to the market recap show. You know where you're headed. Let's get to the desk. Talk about some earnings that should be big this week, Sean.
What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for watching. We are going to have some earnings coming out pretty soon right now. And when they do, we'll have them for you right now. But wow, what a big day it was across the board. I mean, not really so much for the NASDAQ or anything like that. We did have a minus 0.4% here on the NASDAQ as we go. Hold on, I got to log into this. 104.029, 104.029. All right, there we go. We're logged in now. All right, Bitcoin. Wow, what a good day for Bitcoin as this IBIT there continues to go to the upside. I prefer to look at this. We could talk to Bitcoin with Michael Noss. We had him on last week, and we were talking about sort of Bitcoin maybe being in a range. Let's get his opinion now that we've broken out through 50,000. So I'm not going to do too much on that, but as soon as Michael comes on, we will definitely be talking about that. We are also streaming live right now on X, so go find it on Twitter, and you can see what we're all about right now. So we're waiting for, there's ANET coming out very, very soon. Arista Networks, when that hits, we'll have that coming on the board. I don't see it hitting yet. We do have Benzinga Pro right here today. So as soon as we see anything come through, CAR is now out, Avis. So what's up with that? Nice move to the downside. I remember this name, man, CAR, back in meme crazy time. This stock was absolutely insane. CAR, right there. We're going to watch out for that. A nice miss right there for Avis as that just came in right now as well. And remember, we will be going over everything with Benzinga. So if I see anything hit on here, we'll get that through. But it's not huge amount of earnings. We do have it listed on the board there. We have we have Shopify tomorrow morning, which is going to be a big one to talk about. But we do have Michael Noss coming on, and we did talk also about having potentially, just want to make sure. Yeah, okay, so he wants to talk maybe about Canada Goose a little bit as well, but it was the TAN ETF. And it's just so funny that Michael talked about this earlier this morning, and we are getting a nice little boost up here. So TAN this morning started off at $46, went all the way to 48, so that's a good one. Thanks, Michael, for that, as he hit right up to the 50-period moving average as well. So that's a good one, up 4%. And of course, this is the solar, Invesco Solar ETF. We'll talk to Michael about why he likes that, but you saw possibly this morning as well. Nat gas, though, one goes up, one goes down. Where's my fail button on here? There it is right now. We'll hit fail on UNG, as that's just lower, lower, lower. I mean, it is so warm. It's not super warm right now today, but we were at 14 or 15 degrees. You guys saw me and Brendan do or heard about the podcast there, and it was like 12, 13 degrees. That's like almost 60 Fahrenheit here in February as we approach Valentine's Day. Brendo, you ready for Valentine's Day? Nope. Okay, good. All right, so we'll pass on that. If the wife is listening, I'm not sure it matters because you guys don't really do too much. I remember that. There it goes. I feel like that is a Hallmark holiday. Like, I get stuff obviously for the wife, but then also for my daughter. I think that's what I'm going to be doing. All right, KRE, again, nice downside move recently, but we did get that nice bounce up there coming on the KRE. Nice little action today, as we've seen NYCB try to bounce back a little bit. Again, New York Community Bank today. Actually, wait a second. Today, that's today, no? What's going on here? This is from the 12th, right? So New York Community Bank actually up zeros today. Had a nice move up. And I actually didn't see this fall back in. So my bad, took me by surprise there. NYCB makes the move back up to 550, then closing in around 490. So that's a downside move. I don't like retail, and you could see what happened to Amazon today. Oops. Here's Amazon right now. So Arista is out, but AMZN, just AMZN. Again, today, nice downside move for Amazon. We've talked about this. I like the name. It was breaking out. We did have a long today. It was a bad trade early. We kind of got out of the way, but then we really faded this move late. So Amazon closing near its lows of 172. So 172.20, its bottom of 171.60. I would say no to this name. The name that I really like, though, I was going to look at Walmart quickly, but let's just check out ANET because Arista is out. So there it is right now, ANET out. We're going to go for a 1-minute chart here just to see the movements on what's going on with Arista. So right now, Arista Networks, 280 down to 260, getting hit a little bit here by ANET. What are the numbers that I have? Arista Networks right here pulling back in. So $2 versus 170. That should be a bang, right? That sounds good. Sales as well beating. We're going to have to find the guide. Must be lower right now for Arista as they're starting to fall back in just a little bit. Meeting expectations and beating on sales should be pretty good right now. So we'll find out. Tether CEO says Tether could reach 1 trillion market cap. I thought there was some fugazi in Tether, but I guess not. 152 to 156 right now. This is what they're looking for Arista, the guide. 152, 156 versus 153. That should be fine. So I feel like this name may be falling down here on nothing that I can see. We'll wait for ANET to come out very, very soon. Tomorrow's big play for me is going to be Shopify. Shopify reporting tomorrow. I think it's out of my ear. We don't have any major earnings coming through. Shopify tomorrow, again, I really like this 83. I'm looking for a pullback in on this name. We've talked about Shopify. Again, I want to give a shout out to Trade Ideas because I honestly, Michael's going to be mad at me because this is like the simplest thing that Trade Ideas does, but I really like it. It's just this little details page. And Michael's built this, so if you do need a Trade Ideas layout, either myself or Neil's or Brendan's, he has them all lined up as well, Sharif, anything like that. Or if you want this little layout, this is the races. They're pretty cool. You can start and restart them. They're just set to 6 minutes or 2 minutes here. We have 6.5 into the close. Anything comes through, but it's this little detailed page that I like because it gives me the short interest as well as the market cap, gives us options ranges as well. The only thing, Michael, if you're listening, I wonder if it has PE. I've looked for PE on here before and haven't been able to find it. Oh, here it is right here. Sorry. It's not PE, it's something else. I'll bother Michael about that because it does have PE. But anyways, there it is right now. We're going to find out 107 million market cap. Not huge for Shopify, but it's the short float that I'm interested in right there. Only 2% for Shopify. They come out tomorrow, so that's going to be pretty interesting for a name to follow in tomorrow's earnings. Shopify today started off having a pretty decent day, but if I'm not correct, it did end, does end, on its low. So Shopify, move back in, make the move back to 91, then sort of finishing on the lows. Of course, that is Shopify. So what I actually want to talk about today was ARM. And I've asked my good friend to talk a little bit about this as well. I don't know exactly, and shout out to everybody that's here on the chat, man. Thank you so much for joining here again. You guys are talking about the chat, and I just saw NYCB there, bought NYCB. So we'll find out more about that, some insider buying coming through. Wow, ARM, no ARM, as if. I kind of said for a joke that I was going to hold this until compliance kicked me out of it. Should have done that. I had to get out right there at the end of the day at 150. This is down to 144. And those of you that were watching the closing show, what price did I say I was putting my bid at? 144.50. That's where we were bidding. That's filled now if we had had a bid there, but we had to get filled at the end of the day. But the reason why I want to talk about this name today is because look at the exuberant buying here off the open. Like as if we started at 118 and then ripped all the way to 164. Like what is new? These kind of stocks really bother me. Not because of FOMO or anything like that. It's because they become hard to trade if you're not part of the beginning move. So I mean, I feel like right here was a buy. We talked about that. Based out, came back. Look at the touch on VWAP. Maybe Michael's going to talk a little bit about an anchored VWAP here or something. But I feel like, and I hope Michael agrees probably with this, 127, 128 feels like that was the missed buy. I'm always going to miss this first move because I'm not going to take ARM when it's moving like $10 straight up and I don't already have it. So it's this pullback into VWAP right there that happened in and around 950, giving us sort of, okay, we found an area to support VWAP, so we're going. So that was a good take there at 128. But you know what? I thought we got this exhausted up here near 150. We were down a couple $100 here shorting this. Then we said, Stone Cold Steve Austin style. And then it just came all the way back down. So we get stopped out here. And at this point, I'm like, man, what have I done? I'm starting to question life and everything like that. I'm not actually doing that. But then once it comes back in and we hit, then make that move back up. Now all of a sudden I have an area that I can go against. So we properly share size now because we were gonna give ourselves about $2 or $3 up to this 165 area. So here's the shorts in. There's a take at 136. There's a take again at 138. Anyways, the short really started to print. And I'm proud to tell you that ARM, despite others being out on this name, we really did crush this. This was the #1 stock. I know Neil was negative on it today. He mentioned that. But this was the #1 stock for the office today. It was ARM, and it was a beauty. We like ARM. And hey, if I can get an opportunity to short this tomorrow, I'm going to do the same kind of thing. I like ARM to short that into that move. So in just a couple minutes, I will call up on Mr. Noss, and we will talk. Yeah, I know he's ready, but I'm not ready for him. We'll talk about that very, very soon. And the reason I'm just joking about that, we can always have Michael on. I just wanted to go quickly over some of this. FXI today. Me and Michael have talked about this over and over again. We talk about this actually with a lot of guests. I wonder about this Chinese move, man. There's so much negativity around the Chinese economy right now. They're still the world's second largest economy. I talked about NVIDIA's market cap, basically all of China. There's something wrong when that hits, right? They have, oh, by the way, yesterday I meant to trade this. I went over to the wife and I said, how many Temu apps did I see? And apparently it's called Temu, I think it was, yesterday on the something called the Super Bowl. That was like a huge ad. And look at this. Look what this did early. Wow. I said to Marissa, I was like, I need to buy Pinduoduo tomorrow because of all of the love that app got there during Super Bowl. It was literally said, shop like a billionaire, download the Temu app. And I was like, okay. But anyways, a nice move up and then a pull back down in. But PDD on the daily has looked really sweet, man. So that might be it, but watch out for 121 losing. It was there, 128 today. Huge move up for that. And again, the reason what I look at is Alibaba. I really like this name. I thought their quarter was okay. They found Jack Ma. They talked all about AI. That's a joke from like 3 years ago. Maybe I shouldn't use it. Jack Ma is found, okay? But Alibaba, I just feel like when there's so much pain in this name, and some of the numbers for Alibaba are absolutely insane. So let's continue to look at it. If Charlie Munger, who's supposed to be a value investor. One of his largest positions was and still is, obviously the account's been passed on, Alibaba. We got to go on that one. And there was also somebody else that was a huge investor that also likes Alibaba. So they know what they're doing. Hopefully I'll hop on that as well. It's Hydration Nation. But on that note, let's hit my guy. It's the man. It's the myth. It's the legend. It's Michael Nas. Let's go. Mr. Michael Nas, the chat always gets so excited when you're about to come on here. That tan, wow. I mean, if someone just bought it off the open, that was a good trade that you had earlier today. I was sort of giving you credit for that, so congratulations. I like the tan name as well. I think there's going to be some more movement into that one. Let's let that one settle out. You want to quickly talk about tan in case no one was with us today? And then you also did mention that there was maybe an idea that you had on an underlying name. If there's anything you want to talk about, the floor is now yours. I just did 6 hours.
Sure thing. So yeah, so if anyone missed the episode this morning or when I was on this morning, I was talking about tan and solar, and I won't, for those who've been here for both, I won't belabor the point too much. But when I was doing my weekend scanning, I noticed that there was this big move in solar last week, and it actually is coming to a point, this $40 or so, where me and Sean have talked about it a few times, and finding support at that level. Let me go into the weekly chart, and let's just look at this last weekly candle and kind of ignore this one. But if I zoom in a little bit here, you can see last week it had this massive candle off of these lows. And one thing that I actually like is, it's kind of hard to see, but it did wick right under these prior lows, and that can sometimes, liquidate some longs, get some shorts in there, cause some problems. And all of this longer term evidence at $40 a share looked like it may have been support. My argument was, hey, maybe we take a shot on it, and I did with RUN, which I talked about. And the reason for this particular run solar was more of the fact that it had a 16% short float. So a pretty wild short float on a name like this. And I spent a lot of the day looking at some other ones. Didn't find too much directly in the solar space. So I actually just bought on the open both run and the TAN ETF. But kind of adjacent to the solar space, I think, is this Blink charging. And this one's been popping up on my scans for a long period of time because it has a 37% short float, you can see up here. That is just wild to me. And it's putting in this RSI divergence, which again, we can talk about. I'm seeing so many of these divergences all over the market, where essentially for the last low, there was a bit of running out of momentum. So for me, I picked up a little bit of this name as well. My stop is going to be right under these lows, but nearly half of the float is short. That's just wild to me.
Yeah, no, and you know another name, Michael, that reports, and actually, I really like your layout. I might have to talk to you about that for the show, where it has all the stuff on the top. Is that the web-based version?
That's the downloaded version, but those are the web-based charts that we just put out. So yeah, you can see up top here.
I like that.
We're basically putting the quick, whatever you need, kind of quick and dirty, is right on the top of the chart. So short float, market cap, all of that.
Yes.
More focus on the chart for a technician like me is always a good thing.
All right, I'll be sliding into your DMs and see if we can get something like that for the show, because I think that's so sweet. I'm always, and I told you, I love that aspect of trade ideas, that everything is right there, and I'm going back and forth with the detail page. All right, Michael, this is going to be a good one for you, and I know you're not prepared for it, so I'm going to throw it to you. It's Upstart. I'll give you a second to look at it. UPST, they are reporting. They're reporting tomorrow evening. We've had some major runs in a firm lately, and you want to talk about a name with a short flow, my guy. It's Upstart, over 41%. And how juicy does that level look at $40? Maybe I'm getting a little excited about that, but I mean, if they report a little bit more revenue than expected and give a little bit of a shot in the arm, as we know growth stocks like to get, Upstart is something that's on my radar right now. And for a simpleton like me, Michael, it's bouncing off the 200 there. It's trying to get above the 50. I like those. Those are simple period moving averages, both the 200 and the 50 on a daily chart. I really like those levels. I think it's a risk going something ahead of earnings, but this might be something worth it. See what the action is tomorrow. I really like Upstart here. Is there anything sort of, any smiley faces or anything we can draw here? Because Upstart's looking pretty good to me.
It does look like a little bit of a smiley face here. I marked up the chart a little bit. But what's interesting, so I just drew an anchored VWAP from this last high right here was a major high. And I know you guys were probably trading the insanity that happened there, where it went from $10 to 60 something before falling back down. And that anchored VWAP gets us right to where we are right now. And then I drew an anchored VWAP from this high right here, and that gets us to right where we are right now. So this is a big decision point. So for me, I'm not buying anything like this going into earnings, but if I were to see a move to that $40 level or around that $40 level after earnings, I might have to take a shot on it as well, because we're watching a 41% short float on that. Is absolutely monstrous. So, if they start to get nervous, they're going to have to go, and that's going to lead to a pretty massive rally.
I just have to interrupt quickly here. We do have ZI, Zoom Info Technologies, coming over to my chart. Nice beat for anybody there looking at ZI. So I just want to give it, because people are talking about it in the chat. Here's Zoom Info. EPS, they're seeing a higher EPS moving forward to Q1. Looks like they're going to beat all over the place. Better than expected Q4 results and issued guidance. So 26 cents beating 25, sales beating, so top and bottom with a good guide. There it goes. Pardon the pun, zooming up here for ZI as we go and take out the 200. Whenever we can take out 200s like this, Michael, that's not bad. It's a 5% short float. It's Zoom Info right now starting to go back up to the upside. Okay, I wanted to ask you quickly about, well, you want to mention Canada Goose, first of all. Was there anything, Michael, that you saw in that? I can call it up here and give you a second to get ready.
Yeah, I will.
Are we laying an egg here?
Screen. There's something interesting I noticed on this Zoom in that will make us happy as well. Or no, sorry, that's for Zillow. Never mind. I saw something that the Canada Pension Plan Board buys 200,000 shares, and I thought this was for Zoom. It was actually for Zillow, so never mind that.
Yeah. So what I was looking at right now, you mentioned Canada Goose right now, then you might have missed my joke. I was wondering if they're going to lay an egg or not, because here goes Canada. I know, so stupid. February 1st, they've already reported, but it does look like, Michael, that on the daily, it's looking pretty good. Are you going to tell us something about that $15 mark?
That's exactly it. So the one thing we have to watch out for is this downward sloping 200-day moving average, which I'll highlight right here. But we had a nice solid candle today, and we broke these two prior highs that we had on earnings day and on a day a little while ago. Again, just to go on we kind of have a theme going on here, Sean, where we're looking at these high short floats. A third of the float in Canada Goose is short, and we had this nice breakout candle today. So for me, that's something that I always kind of keep an eye on, because as you know, if the stock's just tanking, then who cares what the short float is, because they're winning. But when you get these reversal points and you get these high volume breakout days, those can sometimes lead to some pretty wild moves if these shorts need to cover. So we've got, the breakout has already happened on the close today, but we do have around, say, $14.50 or $15. We do have that downward sloping 200-day moving average. So I'm going to watch for strength on this guy tomorrow, but I'm just going to be cognizant that it could hit that 200-day moving average and reverse.
I know that you know a lot about the cryptocurrency verse as far as trading is concerned. Last time you and I were on the show, we did talk about this possibly basing out a little bit, but it looks like we're getting this crazy break. And honestly, Michael, I don't have FOMO. I'm in this. I mean, there's a lot of people that are in this already, but this breaking through 50,000, I mean, maybe it's because I'm looking at it with rose-colored glasses, but can we not get back to all-time highs on this move? I mean, if this was a $50 stock and it was breaking through, you and I would say, hey, we have a good chance to get back to 60, don't we? I mean, it's not even that far away. Like this, again, the Coinbase high, you know, some craziness happening. Then we get FTX kind of sending this all the way back down and everybody worried about regulations. And then we sort of stopped. And again, thank you. You are the man that introduced me to Crypto Burb. I'm going to have him back on. But down into here, into 14, 15,000. But man, Michael, does this ever look great? And I know that you've looked at it with MicroStrategy before. We now do have some ETFs that we can play off of. But man, to me, Michael, Bitcoin just looks like, I mean, it's a one-way train, and it looks like it's going to the upside. I mean, will traders in China slow this thing down? We'll have to see what happens overnight, but I'm excited here for Bitcoin, breaking and holding now, for now, above 50.
So yeah, and so I don't have a Bitcoin position, but I do own a little bit of Coinbase.
Okay.
And I do own some Mara again. You guys know I've been going back to that Mara well for a while.
Like that one.
I still think there's more juice to be had in the actual stocks than in the crypto itself. So what I've been playing, and you can see I already had this Coinbase marked up because this is the trade that I took, is this nice fall back to this area that it broke out of. Anyone who's followed me, this is my favorite setup. Find a strong area that it broke out of, and if it comes back and retests that, that's a great trade. And I'm up a fair bit from that, and Mara kind of looks like the same thing. But my worry is, and I don't know if this is just me being biased because I was wrong on crypto basing for a while, but it is kind of extended. Now, extended doesn't mean anything in the crypto world if you've been around for any length of time. Things can go absolutely wild for this. But I'm waiting for the moment where we could get some reversal, because we need to understand that the more institutional involvement in crypto, in my opinion, the less overall volatility there'll be.
Could be.
If you're an IRA and I say, hey, I'm going to put 1% of your net worth into crypto, well, naturally, if crypto goes down, I'm a buyer. And then if crypto goes up, I'm a seller to rebalance that portfolio. So I don't know when these ETFs rebalance, but it's definitely something I need to take a look at. But not long the coin, but I'm long the stock. So I hope I'm wrong and we just break to new highs personally.
For, like, when me and you talk about short floats, I mean, we gave a couple of good examples already earlier today. Does that 23% there on Mara, like, for me, whenever I see a stock, because it makes sense why Mara's going up, Bitcoin's clearly going up. It has the best smiley face of all time, as we saw in your chart there. I mean, that is fantastic. And I give you full credit, man. You've been talking about that since $10, $11. But like when moves are happening outside of the reason why, like Bitcoin up 3 or 4% today, Mara up 15%. To me, I'm always looking short on those kind of plays, just thinking it's overextended. But I guess the market doesn't have to be rational.
Well, no, and you need to understand that these stocks, they're basically leverage instruments, because even though there's ETFs now, so this may change it, but for the longest time, if I wanted to put a bearish bet on crypto and I'm a large institution, or I even wanted just to hedge, like say I'm an institution, I own a bunch of Bitcoin, and I want to put a hedge on the other side of things, I generally speaking can't go and short Bitcoin. There's exchanges that you can do it, and there's retail traders that can do it, but to be able to do it in a large amount for a large institution was, near impossible, and there's no options. So there's no real good way to get a hedge. So what a lot of these funds would do, and I know this from my work in the crypto field, that they would have long crypto positions and they would look to hedge those, and they would do them in the stock. So again, it may even out now that there's ETFs, because in my opinion, ETF's a better vehicle to hedge against. But for now, as long as that doesn't occur, I think these moves you're getting are basically short covering rallies.
All right, that is honestly, I mean, for people listening, I think that's maybe the golden goose, not goose as in Canada goose. But that's great information there. That makes a lot of sense. That's why part of the Coinbase on the way up is what we talked about. They were going to be the custodian for all of these ETFs. So as they keep on ripping to the upside, that would make sense. That Coinbase goes up and then all of a sudden wind out of it. But that Coinbase at 115, wow, what a good look there. All right, before I let you go, look, I've been talking about this. I lost way too much money trying to short this NASDAQ today. it does wind up going down. My timing was off on that, but I know you and I have gone back and forth a little bit about the NASDAQ, and then, you know, relative strength versus like the RSP versus the SPY and things like that. So I started shorting up here basically at all-time highs before eventually it falling down. It was my number one P&L to the red side, was a short NASDAQ as we close at the end of the day. What am I supposed to do with this? I mean, I feel like maybe I should trade maybe SQQ or TQQ. This just keeps on going to the upside. Is there a better thing to trade? Am I going crazy thinking about shorting the NASDAQ? Are there any signs in here that maybe we're topping out? What can you tell me about the NASDAQ and possible topping out, or what you're looking at?
So full disclosure, because I'll always tell you if I have a position on, I am short the NASDAQ. So
Okay.
you can take everything that I shorted today.
Okay.
Actually, technically, like you were talking about, because I do a lot of my trading in RSP or tax deferred account where I'm not allowed to short, I bought the SQQQ as a way to short the NASDAQ. And the thinking I had there, and I've presented this a few times, I've been really early on this, but this RSI divergence continues. And I'm going to show you XLF in a second for more evidence on that. But essentially, just to boil it down, higher highs in price, but then lower highs in the RSI. And the RSI is simply a measure of momentum. So it's just showing that there's less momentum in this last up move than all the other moves. That and the fact that we all know that we're really extended made me want to put on a short-term short. Now, again, I'm not saying there's a new bear market coming or anything like that. Just trying to hedge against a portfolio I have of longs by nibbling a bit to the short side. Also, I really like today's candle in which we poked out to new highs and we put in that topping tail. So again, full disclosure, I'm already short, but I don't think you're crazy. And I think at some point there's going to be this rug pull that's going to get all of these people that are buying at the top. Where are we going to come down to? It makes sense to me that this, 415 or 416 area would be a good place to test, just to be a healthy market. Healthy markets don't go up every day. They go up and down. So at some point we need to take a rest, but I don't think it's going to be a very long rest. I think there's a lot of people who are left out of the last move and they're just waiting for their opportunity to buy the dip. So I think we are due for a little bit of a down move, but I don't think it's going to be too crazy. CPI tomorrow might be the catalyst for that.
I was just going to say, we had CPI tomorrow, and some people in the chat are like, okay, now I feel better because if Michael Noss is short and they're short. But I love this full disclosure. That's what we're doing here on the show. So thank you so much for that. And I love the RSI divergence. That's an awesome thing. And I just messaged that to you as well. Thank you so much for bringing that up to everybody. Okay, look, we got to wrap it up. But that was some great talk. We could go on and on, as many people know. They can find you at Michael Noss CMT there on X. Anywhere else? Anything you want to pump? Anything you're doing these days?
Substack. I sent out one today. So Michael Noss and Substack. I just talked about solar again. So for anyone, but there'll be another one tomorrow that will probably sure be a different topic.
What's the weather like there out east?
Well, you can see we got absolutely killed with snow last week, and there may be another nor'easter tomorrow. So
it was 15 degrees here. I don't know what to tell you.
Thanks for that.
Yeah, no problem. I got you. All right, it's Michael Noss. Thank you so much for joining once again. One of my faves, Michael Noss. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trader Talk. All right. Oh, by the way, check our link in the description. You can go find trade ideas. Trader TV 20, I believe, right now gets you 20% off. And what a great layout that Michael had on there. I meant to bring that up at the end. Thank you, Michael, for that. And I actually love that. I'm going to try to get that here for all of you as well. Okay, just real quick. I mean, the sticky note review today, we can go over that. The sticky note is something that I put out every single day. And I know sometimes it gets like a little bit boring on the show. And I just want to tell you guys that the reason why I put this out is for myself and for all of you. These are levels of interest that I've been looking at, right? The Snapchat long at 1150, I mean, when that broke, that was a monster trade. That was one of my best trades off of here. We reversed Amazon into the short, but we did have a 175 there. The NVIDIA 715 long, I mean, honestly, on that trade, I mean, let's go over here and quickly look at NVIDIA. We absolutely destroyed NVIDIA today, and it was to the short side. We waited for it, but let's just talk about that 715 long take. right? I mean, that's basically, like it comes in there, and sure, it goes down to 714, but like that long at 715 looked like that was a good, like a pretty hot take there. If it can load up, I'll show you why we liked it. I just thought into here, we had some bids on the midday there on Friday, where we kind of held the 713, 714. So we started talking about doing the bidding down there at 715, which is why we got out. We didn't start trading NVIDIA, everybody, until we knew the market was cracking lower. So we started short, no stop outs on NVIDIA at all. It worked exactly as planned. These shorts right here, 725, that out, 717. So like $8 or $9 to the downside there for NVIDIA. You guys want to know the Snapchat. That's another sticky note name. And of course, Snapchat's going to be a New York name. So let's load that up. Oh, it's only at 1166. Why would Sean care about that 1150 break? Well, here it is right here, 1150, right? Take it. Debt restructuring looks good. So by the way, we took that early, right? Look at Snapchat here. As we'll zoom this back out. There it is right there on the break. So again, comes back in, breaks that level. We had 1150, doesn't go back to Friday, it goes back the day before. There's the break of 1150, and there's the March higher, getting our best piece out at $12, and then we held our last 5% and got it out 1170 there at the end of the day. But a great trade there for Snapchat to end it. We got to do something that matters a lot to me, and it's going to be roll call. So I just want to thank everybody for joining. I mean, I don't do this every day for no reason. I really like doing it. I have some great guests on. We're able to sort of recap, look at what the market did, talk all about that, but I couldn't do it without you. So let's go right now and figure out who's here. Because you know what? Traders stay late, and that means a lot to me. So let's do it right now. Who's still here? We've got Magic 8 Ball. Oh, well, we like the Magic 8 Ball. We've got one on the desk. We'll hit that tomorrow. Where is Coinbase? I don't know, probably 150. This guy sold PayPal. What's up, Viro? What's up to Mitchell? What's up to BGZ? What's up to Bristol? Miss A is here. Scarjo's here. The best in the business. I'm not going to stop right here. He even tagged it. Traders stay late. Thank you to Bears vs. Bulls, man. We couldn't do this without you. That guy's the best. So keep on that right now. The show just keeps on getting better. Well, I appreciate you, Mr. Westermeyer. Thank you so much for coming here every day as well. Shout out to Chef Joe. I know he's been having some health issues. If you're here, shout out to you as well. Bbot 5000, Hambone is here, Mauricio's here, Anudeep is here. Look, over 4,000 joined us tonight. We had over 3,000 when we said goodbye to Michael Noss. Thank you so much. You're really making this show, you know, one of the best shows that we have. I want to thank you for that. We're going to keep going every single day. It's Trader TV Live. Follow me at Trader TV Sean. LinkedIn, something called Twitter or X, Instagram, all the handles are the same. It's at Trader TV Sean. Often imitated, never duplicated, and tired as hell today. I'll see everybody there tomorrow at 8:30. Ciao, everybody. I'm coming home.